Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our January 20th City Council meeting. It is 7 p.m. Meeting is now in session. Any person wishing to address the City Council during oral communication must complete a speaker card that is provided at the entrance to the council chambers and submit the card to the Deputy City Clerk prior to commencement of oral communications. Speaker cards will not be accepted after oral communication has started. Tonight's invocation will be led by Pastor Mason Okubo from Emmanuel First Lutheran Church, and Councilman Wu will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. All rise.
Thank you, Mayor. Let us pray. Lord, we give you thanks for all civil servants serving West Covina. Bless their hard work and sacrifice. Give discerning hearts to our city council as they govern our city. Give them wisdom so they may solve problems, distinguish between right and wrong, bring order and stability and prosperity to our community. Give each of us a spirit of unity that we may work together for the good of our city and to glorify you. We ask this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Please put your right hand to your heart and face the flag and follow my lead. Ready? I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Good evening, Mayor. Councilman Gutierrez. Councilmember Gutierrez.
Here.
Councilman Wu.
Here.
Councilwoman Diaz.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Contos.
Here.
Mayor Lopez Viado.
Present.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
before we start tonight, I will be pulling item number 4 from the consent calendar.
Okay. Okay. City Attorney, is there anything to be reported out of closed session?
Nothing to report, Madam Mayor. Thank you.
Okay, now we will begin our presentation. SB 1383 Outreach Presentation by Athens Services.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. My name is Liz Ramirez with Athens Services. We're here tonight to provide an update on Senate Bill 1383 and the transition that's happening here in West Covina. I wanted to introduce you to our transition team. We have with us Brandon Mills, our Division Vice President who oversees the operations. We have John Harrington, Senior Vice President of Government Affairs, who's overseeing the contract. And Jonathan Hughes, Vice President of Government Affairs, who's overseeing the transition and all of the outreach activities. So I'll have Jonathan come up and share with you all of the things that we're doing to support the customers through this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Liz, and good evening, Madam Mayor, members of the City Council. As Liz said, Jonathan Hughes, Vice President of Government Affairs here at Athens Services. I'm very excited to be working closely with the city, not just with this transition, but hopefully for many years to come. Tonight, as was mentioned, I'm here to communicate some important updates on the city's transition regarding Senate Bill or SB 1383 and ways we can continue working together in educating the public and maintaining the city's compliance. And as folks saw, as they are here, for those who are here in person, we are here in the lobby tonight. We have some of our great outreach coordinators here. So if any members of the public wish to speak with them about what goes in which container or have questions about the SB 1383 program and any changes, we're happy to address any of those questions here in person. And I was going to say next slide, but I am in charge of the next slide with this nice clicker, so thank you for that. As you all know, in January of last year, CalRecycle implemented their SB 1383 regulation that mandates municipalities and haulers recover 75% of organic waste from trash that's being sent to the landfill. This will help reduce greenhouse gas emissions in the state of California. And as you know, just a month ago, this body approved an amendment to the waste hauling agreement that ensures the city's full compliance with this unfunded state mandate. Under the contract amendment approved last month, Athens will continue to provide support in a number of areas ensuring the city's compliance. And SB 1383 requires many elements, including the most visible to all of us, compliant containers for both residential and commercial customers. And as I mentioned, there are actually 7 elements in the SB 1383 program, and I'll share a bit more about each of those elements. Of course, we have our collection program, which is most visible, requiring cities to provide a collection of organic materials, including food scraps, yard waste, and food soil paper to all residents and businesses. As part of this requirement, all containers need to meet certain color and labeling requirements. Contamination monitoring mandates the ongoing monitoring of barrels and bins to ensure proper sorting. The goal of this requirement is to identify and help customers reduce contamination in organics and recycling streams. Next, our waste assessments go one step further, analyzing all waste from a particular route to audit and evaluate the waste stream to track compliance and program effectiveness. When it comes to outreach and education, cities must conduct ongoing public education campaigns to ensure residents and businesses understand sorting requirements and SB 1383 rules. Our outreach team, some of who are here tonight, visit with each commercial customer and multifamily customer on at least an annual basis to assess customers' waste streams and provide any training or support needed. In addition, our outreach team remains available at any time to provide ongoing support to our customers. For instance, we have many restaurant customers who reach out to us to provide ongoing training to their kitchen staff. Next, procurement. Cities must utilize recycled content products such as compost, mulch, or renewable gas to help create markets for these recovered materials. When it comes to data and reporting, local jurisdictions are required to keep records and submit compliance reports to CalRecycle, the state governing agency that documents their SB 1383 programs and progress. Athens Services has built a unique reporting database and dashboard to help support this requirement. And lastly, food recovery support, which requires certain food generators like grocery stores, food distributors, and large restaurants to donate surplus edible food, with jurisdictions overseeing and supporting local food recovery programs. Athens provides the outreach and education to these customers, and the city also participates in the San Gabriel Valley Council of Governments Food Recovery Program. As you can see here, all customers will now receive containers for trash, organics, and recycling. Typically, our residential customers will receive barrels, and commercial and multifamily customers will receive a mix of bins and barrels based on their unique needs and size requirements. All customers are now subscribed to all three waste streams. And of course, extra options are always available. Customers can request additional containers for an additional cost, different container sizes, and even different pickup frequencies, which is primarily for our commercial customers. Customers are able to select a bundle that includes all three commodities to fit their needs. As you can see here, our standard residential service for single-family homes includes one of each of the three barrels, the black barrel for trash, the green barrel for organics, and the blue barrel for recycling. Residents can also go online or call to schedule bulky waste collection on their regular service day, provided they schedule this at least 24 hours in advance. For our standard commercial and multifamily customers, they will receive a 3-yard trash bin and a 96-gallon recycling cart and a 64-gallon organics cart. Additional sizes and frequencies are available as well, like I mentioned. And for those commercial and multifamily customers, we've been visiting with each one of them beginning the first week of January to give people direct feedback on their waste generation and make container size and frequency recommendations based on the waste that they generate. Again, these customers can always opt to change their service level. And as part of the amendment between the city and Athens, we've implemented weekly bulky sweeps at each of the designated parks, the 8 designated parks you can see here on the screen. And all city buildings and city-sponsored events are transitioning to the 3-stream system, trash, recycling, and organics, which will set the standard for the community. We have a robust community outreach and support program that we've developed to engage residential and commercial customers throughout the city. You can see on the slide some examples of our outreach, which is ongoing and has many events and activities planned for the next few months. And as I mentioned, we're meeting with each commercial customer to explain the new bundle program, answer any questions, and walk through service options. Additionally, our customer service team remains available to provide one-on-one support, explain rates, and help customers adjust their service needs. And I'll make one quick shout out here on the slide. You can see the video call out. I'd like to thank each one of you who have partnered with us to do some public service announcements. So for members of the public, we are hoping to roll those out here in February. So look forward to seeing those from Athens as well as from the city. As you can see here, when it comes to deploying this new equipment, we plan to begin delivering the commercial and multifamily equipment as soon as next week, which will take approximately a week or two. And then residential barrel delivery, we plan to begin that first week of February 2nd, and continue again for approximately 2 weeks. Service or collection of these containers will begin the week of February 16th. And the all-important question of what goes where. As you can see here, all containers need to include what I mentioned before, which is SB 1383 compliant labeling. All carts will have a hot stamp as shown on the left, one for each of the carts, and all bins will have a sticker as shown on the right. Importantly, all of this labeling includes a convenient QR code for customers to access and be directed to additional outreach and education materials. Importantly, the biggest change is that food waste will now go in the green organics container. And as I mentioned, we have some of our outreach coordinators here in the community room this evening. So if anyone has any questions, more specific about what goes where, we're happy to take any of those questions. And as a reminder, I've talked about this already, but you can see here just a conceptual illustration of how this transition works, converting from the 2-stream system to the 3-stream system. Importantly, you'll see what's called out there, those plastic bottles that are currently going into the black or trash barrels, now, of course, will go into the blue or recycling containers. A significant amount of the volume from many of our commercial customers' current trash or black container will now go in the blue container. Think about, especially at home, we have lots of cardboard boxes from Amazon and other online retailers. Those will now go in the blue container. And food, like banana peels and other items, will be discarded in the organics or green container. As I mentioned, I'm very much looking forward to working with the council and city staff as we continue to implement the city's compliant SB 1383 program. And we have a booth here in the community room. We're happy to take any questions from members of the public. If we can help you find the right size and the right frequency for you, or the right container, which item goes in the right container, we're happy to answer any of those questions tonight. And with that, I'm happy to take any questions from the council. Thank you.
Does the council have any questions? Councilman Gutierrez?
Yes. I have a couple of questions because I know the community has been asking a lot of questions since we passed the 2 agreements. So I'll ask some couple of questions. Let's see. Okay. Oh, I'm getting there. No, I'm getting there. Sorry. No, I have my questions. I'm just figuring out. I'm not going to ask them all, but let's see. Okay. Can you? Okay, I'll just ask this one. So maybe you could answer, or maybe our city attorney can answer this. I know there's been a lot of comments in our community, but do you know, under Zoe versus the city of Oakland, the California Supreme Court held that a charge imposed on residents that exceeds the costs of providing services is an unlawful tax. Can you state on the record whether every dollar charged to West Covina residents reflects the actual cost of service with no surplus retained by Athens? Maybe.
This is a presentation from Athens right now that it isn't time to discuss any exposure or liability to the city out in open session. And we've already provided council with attorney-client privilege memo on the Zolli case.
Okay, so, yeah, but the community has questions, so you don't have to. They want an honest answer, so I'll move on to the next question.
They've received an honest answer already, and we've responded to that question.
So, okay, next question I have. Is it true that relabeling a charge as a stabilization or rate adjustment does not change its legal character under Zoli if residents are paying more than the cost of service? City Attorney?
Can you explain that question a little clearer, please?
Yes. Is it true that relabeling...
Don't just reread it. Can you explain it? What you're trying to ask?
Yeah, I'll reread it and then I'll explain it. So it says, is it true that relabeling a charge as a stabilization or rate adjustment does not change its legal character under Zoe if residents are paying more than the cost of service? So what I'm asking is, is there a legal difference based upon what we label something on a contract that technically falls back on Zoe versus Oakland?
Again, this is not for discussion out in open session.
No, but
What do you mean
residents
by
have
stabilization?
questions.
What do you mean by stabilization?
Huh?
What do you mean by stabilization?
I'm referring to the contracts that and I voted for this, but I'm
I
asking.
know what you're referring to, but what do you mean by it?
That based upon the language in the agreement, that is there a difference? So if we labeled it a sustainability agreement, does that have a legal effect on similarities to the Zoe case? In the Zoe case, they argue.
Zoe case, it's the Zolli case. And again, Madam Mayor, this is a presentation
This is,
from Athens right now.
yeah.
This isn't time to discuss liability in open session.
Okay, so we'll move on. So okay.
Do you have questions pertaining to the presentation of the changes that will occur?
Yeah. I think these are the questions that the residents want answers. So I have three
Those
more.
would have been great when we had this discussion with them prior, but today they are here to present of the changes that we all, including yourself, have approved. And so
Yes.
is there specific questions to the presentation regarding the bins, the new changes that are going to be implementing and receiving?
Yes.
Where are you reading these from? Are these prior written questions by you before the meeting?
Those are my notes.
And I have mentioned in the past to please inform and let them, because if they don't have the information at hand to give you at the moment, they're just going to say, we're going to have to get back to you.
Well, I think many of these questions are legal questions, so they're not. I
Well,
think
if they're legal questions, then
it might be
it would
Tom's
city-
questions, or,
and that
or
would be-
Athens can answer them. But let's see.
Well,
Where in this contract, in the contract that we approved regarding this, where in the contract is the enforceable mechanism that guarantees residents are refunded or credited if Athens collects more than its documented costs?
Again, the contract isn't before you right now. This is a presentation from Athens on the outreach program and how it's going to work.
So I'm going to ask you one more time, Councilman Gutierrez,
I'm
is there additional questions?
So
that
I'm going to
is
finish my last question. Because the public has the right. I think they have questions.
And it would be nice if the public, as I said in the past, the public is more than willing to come and send us an email, which we have. And I know sometimes I have forwarded to Athens, which then Athens had replied in specific because they have all those details prior. So you can also do the same thing. And as I also said in the past, that if you have questions that you're going to go and let people know, that it should be courtesy to even let our attorneys or city staff or the presenters know ahead of time, and so that they could be prepared for this. So we've made this discussion very clear. So your last question
You should stop being so demanding.
is your last question.
I'm asking questions that the voters and the
I'm going to move forward. Here
want
we go
answers
again.
to. So you're so demanding.
All right.
I think people
next.
had questions.
All
So
right.
I'm going to finish my last
It's-
question.
I don't want to have to go back to
Let me
fully
finish
disruption
my last
again.
question.
I'm allowing
Let
you.
me
Go
finish
ahead
my
and
last
say your
question.
question.
Okay. So again, I am asking questions based upon what
Can
I've
you please
heard.
ask your question directly?
Can I speak?
Your question
Please,
and not
I can't even
everything else.
speak.
All right.
So,
One more time.
So I am asking questions based upon what I've heard from the community. So my last question is, if an independent audit showed that Athens' collective revenue exceeding its service costs, would you agree, yes or no, that Zoli and city manager, if you have a problem in how I pronounce stuff, I'm sorry, I have a speech problem, but that Zoe requires those charges to be deemed. So again, if an independent audit showed that Athens' collective revenue exceeding its service costs, would you agree, yes or no, that Zoe requires these changes to be deemed unlawful?
Again, that is a contract question.
This is an email.
not.
This is
This today
questions
at
I
this
got.
moment is a presentation.
Can a city
And
attorney
please
answer?
Feel free to.
My same answer. We're not going to discuss
Okay.
this out in open
You
session.
can more than welcome to forward those questions to the city attorney, and then they can respond back, and then you're more than welcome to forward it to the.
Since they're your notes, and it seems like you've already
person.
had those questions before the meeting, go ahead and send them to us.
Thank you. And then Councilman Wu, please.
Yeah, I have a question about presentation. Okay, I have a green, 2 green, and 1 black. Okay, and I put all the like the grass, when my gardener mow the lawn, or I trim the roses and all the tree, this and that. So I put it in the green. So you say now I can put the kitchen waste
Yes, sir.
into the green?
Food waste. Yes, sir.
Food waste? Mm-hmm. Can I put it in plastic?
You can put it in a clear plastic bag.
Really? Mm. So because before you say you cannot put anything, otherwise I would be fine. So I would put only grass, only tree.
Yeah.
And but now the green you can put the plastic with the food waste.
Yes, sir. Yeah,
and into the green.
Yes, sir.
And then the blue one basically will be all recycled, the bottle, the cardboard.
Plastic, metal, cardboard, yes, sir. All of that.
All the detergent, plastic.
Empty, clean plastic bottles.
Everything. Before I put it black one, the trash, now it's recycled.
Yes, sir.
So what else in the black? The dog poo,
That's a great example. Yes. Yeah, that's a great example. I would also say, anything that's contaminated, basically. But yeah.
I have 3 big dogs, so I collect their poo all the time.
Fill that sucker out.
I always put it into the black.
Yes, sir.
No longer.
That's a great example.
It's still in the black.
Yeah.
Not in the green.
Correct.
Not in the recycle.
Yes, sir.
Okay, have to be in the black.
Yes, sir.
I will put the sticker over there, dog poo only. Okay, so chicken poo and this and that. So, and you say palm tree. I saw the palm tree over there. So palm tree cannot be in the green?
Palm frond that's a great example, and that's a common misconception. So the palm trees, the fibers in them are so thick that they don't decompose at the same rate as all the other organic materials. So palm fronds, any palm clippings do actually go in your black barrel. So those are trash. Any other sort of organic material. I had to chop my
palm tree. I don't want to go to black. I want to reduce to 60 gallon. So I can save a couple of dollars, okay? So anyway, so basically, okay, and so everything the same, okay, just we get the blue one, and the blue one, now we have to recycle and make sure we put the proper item into the different so in that way, since I got a blue one, okay, so I can reduce my gallon, right? I don't need to be 96 gallon that big.
You might be able to reduce your trash size if you're putting a lot of that waste, like those cardboard boxes, aluminum bottles, etc., into your blue container.
And you don't charge us the blue one. The blue one will go with we approve the contract.
That's correct. Yeah, every resident is getting that additional blue container. Whether that's we actually have all 3 sizes here in the room: the 96, the 64. I have the smallest one here behind me. This is the 32 gallon. Every residential
32. So, but we would get bigger, right? We should get a 90.
If you have, it'll be based on your trash service. So if you have the large one for trash, you'll have all 3 large. If you want to downsize to a smaller one of trash, you'll get all 3 of that smaller size.
But can I have a mixed use, like a big one, small one? I have maybe a big green one and a smaller 60 gallon, or maybe even 32 gallon for the black.
So your standard size, your standard set will come as the same. So all 3 is 32, all 3 64, all 3 96. But if you have additional containers, like you mentioned, you have additional of the organics, the green waste containers, you can get any size you want. And there is a small cost associated with the additional containers.
So if I reduce to the smaller size, so I'm going to reduce my monthly payment. Mm-hmm. Okay, but I cannot say I'm going to reduce my black. I want to increase my green because I have a lot of
correct
3.
Yeah.
So everything.
You could reduce all 3 and then get an additional larger size green if you wanted to do that.
Oh, so the additional one is not going to be bundled. Bundle is a 3, 1, 2,
correct.
3.
Yeah. So everyone will get that standard bundle or level of service, which is one of each of the 3 containers. And then if you want to add additional containers on top of that, you always have that option.
Okay, I got it. So now I only need is about what kind of, some is recyclable, some is not. Okay, so we need to have a label, okay, something, or education, maybe you send to us, pamphlet or something. Mm-hmm. Okay, then we can know what is recyclable, what is not, because sometimes I'm very confused.
It is.
We just dump everything into the black.
It can be confusing. Absolutely, sir. Yeah. So each of your containers will have some basic information about which goes into which one. But we're also sending out, I think we've already sent out with the residential statements and things like that, a cheat sheet on kind of which goes into where. We have some of them up there with us. You can always visit our website as well at athensservices.com.
Can you post your website to the city so everybody can go to check your website?
Absolutely.
To see what go to what, okay?
Absolutely.
And I think we need some time to kind of get used to it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that we're definitely acknowledging the fact that this is a behavior change, and it will take some time for folks to adapt and to adopt these new kind of barrels and sorting and things like that. So we're definitely expecting that, and we'll continue to do lots of public education when it comes to this.
And the big item trash you can still pick up for free, right?
Yes, the bulky pickup you can do once a week if you want, but you just need to call at least 24 hours in advance.
And you guys will pick up like an old big projected TV and
Up to certain size and weight limits, but yes, within reason. Yeah, every resident gets that bulky pickup collection. You just have to call before 24 hours of your regular service day. So if your trash is picked up on a Thursday, you would need to call by that same time of day on
the old couch, the old table. Mm-hmm. We can call. You can just pick it up for free.
Sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Councilwoman Diaz.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you, Jonathan. That was a great presentation. I think that we probably need to get educated as far as what are the recyclables, because I know that if they're contaminated, can't put them in the recyclable, right?
That's right, yeah.
So contamination as far as, can you give examples?
Yeah, like I'll give a good example that I find in my home is a peanut butter jar, right? I mean, you can't scrape all the peanut butter out of that jar. So if you can get, let's say 90% of it out there, then you can go ahead and put it in the recycle bin. But if there's still a lot of like gunk at the bottom or something like that, you would go ahead and put that in your trash. What you can do is put what's usually clean is the lid, put the clean lid into your recyclables, and then that dirty or contaminated container, the rest of the container, into your trash.
Okay.
But yeah.
And your to-go containers?
So it kind of depends a little bit on that one. So if it's food soiled, like a cardboard or a compostable takeout container, that would go in the food waste. So that'd be organics. But if it's styrofoam or a hard plastic that's dirty with food and things like that, then you would want to put that in the trash.
It's going to be very interesting.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And actually, I wanted to add to that. It would have been helpful to have a presentation on those details to see what exactly, because I wouldn't have thought putting the top lid, so if maybe you could come back to give a detailed presentation. I know the photos that is presented on the slide, they're black and white pictures, very small. It still doesn't provide justice of exactly what is required. So if you could come back to the council and actually give this full details of what you see, especially since you had mentioned it's a behavior issue of trying to learn and even know these things that we may or may not know. Mayor Pro Tem Contos.
Thank you. For starters, if you could enlarge on the screen the picture. I'm kidding. so I couldn't resist, Jonathan. Sorry. and so. I'm just curious, would a proper separation of waste entail a multi-step process? Let's say, for example, there's a black plastic container that has organics in it. So we would take the organics, scrape it out, and put it into a clear plastic, and then take that plastic and throw it away. But if it's paper, we could then recycle that. Is that sort of an example of?
That's a great example. Yeah, if it's a paper plate or something like that, if the plate is clean and dry, then it can absolutely go in the recyclables. If it is food soiled, any sort of paper, food soiled paper, will go ahead and go in in that organics bin. So for instance, like you finish your, takeout container or a plate of food on plasticware or something like that. If the plate is reasonably clean and it's plastic or paper, some sort of recyclable material, it can absolutely go in the recycling container. If it's food soiled, then it would go, and it's paper, then it would go in the organics. I think my colleague Liz shared this example at a recent council meeting. Sometimes she likes to put her food waste, for the week or something like that in the freezer, so it's not, sitting at the bottom of her barrel, or she'll take it out the night before or something like that. So there's a lot of workarounds, and we can for sure provide some, best practices and tips and things like that. I just want to say too, a lot of these examples are on our recycling cheat sheet, which we sent out to all of our customers. We also have copies here tonight, and we have actually a proprietary web link. It links to Athens services, but you can put in there literally hundreds of different items, and it'll tell you what goes in which container. It's called Can I Recycle My? It's a little bit of a mouthful, but C-A-N-I, the letter I, recycle, R-E-C-Y-L-E, my.com, canirecyclemy.com. And that has a list of many, many items. You can search in there for a specific thing, like palm fronds as a great example, and it'll tell you which container it goes in.
Great. Thank you very much.
I know you mentioned food waste and food soil. I mean, there's also details that when you think of food waste, is that all food waste? I believe that there are some food waste that can't go in there, or is there?
I believe all food waste. I think, as was mentioned before, any sort of like dog waste or anything like that of course goes in trash. But any sort of edible human food waste would go in the organics container.
Okay. Well, certain animal poop are fertilizers, so I know not dogs, but just out there.
You're welcome to use it at home, but we don't want it in the organics container, please.
Okay. So let everybody know that. And as for the recycle bins, I know some concerns that the residents have is that there's people that goes through their trash, and obviously the cans. We do have recycling locations in West Covina that you can recycle your bottles, your cans, and get money for it. You do pay 5 cents up front, you collect it back. So I encourage residents to collect a little change if you can. I know when I recycle like milk bottles and other types of that, there's a formula right there that they don't give you money at the recycle bin, but that's a good place to put it. But what would you say to the residents with concerns of them going through their trash to get all those recycle cans and?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a valid concern. I mean, I think the number one thing I would say is put your trash or your recycling bin in this case at the curb on the day of service, of course, by 6 a.m. or late the night before. But for those folks who are worried about, someone getting into it during that time that it's out at the curb, unfortunately, I think it comes down to a code enforcement issue. I know that, unfortunately, this is something that's not unique to the city of West Covina, but we unfortunately can't enforce kind of people going through the trash.
Okay. I just wanted to know if there was certain things for residents to do with their items that is being thrown in there. Okay, thank you. Councilman Gutierrez.
Yes. And then what is the new, so if residents don't follow the process, their fees will go up. And then can you talk about what Athens is doing to address that? I think you guys have Jeeps going around and checking the trash.
Yes, as part of the SB 1383 program, I'm just scrolling back to the slide so you can see the example here. The contamination monitoring, you'll see we have these right-hand side drive Jeeps, kind of like, think of it like a postal truck. And these are our route auditors. So as part of the SB 1383 state mandate, we are required to do a certain amount of what they call lid flips on an annual basis. So this is something you'll see in every city that has an SB 1383 compliant program. There are fees that can be associated with repeated contamination. But as I mentioned before, we understand that this is a process. This is a new behavior change that both residents and commercial and multifamily customers are going through. So we certainly will have a lot of grace, I think, up front. But yeah, it is the expectation, and the city is our partner in enforcing that folks are doing the right thing when it comes to sorting their materials.
Right. And then does the fees, those penalty fees eventually, if residents do get fined, do those penalty fees go to the city, or it goes to Athens, or?
I'm going to ask Liz to pinch hit on that one.
There's the process, it works a couple different ways. The way we have our process set up is it's a contamination fee. So when we collect contaminated loads and we take them to the facilities to be processed, if they are contaminated, we get assessed a contamination fee. So that covers the cost of the contamination fee. Now, every calendar year, the number of occurrences of contamination will reset for a customer. So on your first and second occurrence of contamination, once we launch that program, so keep in mind, we're not launching that yet. We're going to do that later in time. But after the second occurrence, that's when we would entertain a contamination charge. Your first and second occurrence, customers would get notified via phone, via email. They would hear and get some sort of notice encouraging proper source separation. When it gets to be habitual after the second time, third, fourth, fifth time, that's when we look at assessing fees, and we actually will engage the city's code enforcement. And there's another mechanism for enforcement that's built into the city's municipal code that was required by Senate Bill 1383 that does allow cities to assess penalties. And in that case, those fees would go back to the city for the administration of Senate Bill 1383. So it gets a little complicated. Again, our goal is to really educate everybody to do the right thing. And that's why we have, those grace periods built in for when we actually do launch the contamination monitoring program. So
Great.
just want to clarify.
And then at the last meeting when we voted on this, I think Athens committed to putting stickers on the lids, colorful stickers, so it's easier for residents to see.
Yeah, so right now what we have on the left side is what we call our hot stamp. So that's embossed into the lids. So all of your blue containers will have that labeling or that embossed image. The law requires us to transition out your trash and your organics containers over the next couple of years. So we'll be replacing those with the proper embossed lids for residential customers. And then the same thing for commercial customers. We'll be making sure that everyone has the right labeling on their equipment over time. So it's a phase in. We didn't replace all the equipment right up front because we were trying to mitigate costs.
So Athens commit that their customer service center, that if a resident calls and says they can't see something, the Athens customer service agents will understand that they could send something out to that resident if it's a larger format?
Yes, we can do that. And we also, if there is any questions about what goes where, we also have cart tags that we're working on developing. So if there is contamination, tags will be left on carts as well to educate customers what needs to go where.
Okay, great. Thank you. And then my last question is, Tom, I'll send you these questions then so you can answer later on, whenever. Is that fine? Or
Your pre-prepared questions you were asking me earlier?
Yes.
Yeah, you can forward them to me and I can provide an answer for you.
Okay, great. Thank you. That's it.
Councilman Wu?
Yeah, okay. I just have a same question, okay, but if, okay, I don't want to put on, the green waste, okay, the kitchen, okay, all this organic. I think people are very confused, and I'm confused big time. So can I don't put a plastic bag, okay, and just dump into the green?
Yes, you can. You can put it in there loose, but what we recommend is putting it in a clear plastic bag.
I'm just asking, okay? I don't want to get fined, okay?
You can absolutely put it, let's say you
put the smell of my greens.
You're walking into your backyard or driveway or whatever, you can absolutely just set that banana peel right in the green barrel.
Okay, got it. So basically, recommendation with a clear plastic bag, is that California going to ban all the plastic bag?
One example that I would use is, if you go to, Sprouts or any grocery store and you get produce, those produce bags, those are a great thing to use. In fact, a lot of those bags are compostable themselves. So you can use those. That's a great thing to do. And those are not banned yet, so far as I know.
Well, we don't know, because my understanding, all the plastic bag will be banned by the California government right now. So in that way, if we don't have a plastic bag, then how you... Okay, and plus you want to do the 1383 from what the state want. Now it is depend the plastic bag, and then can we use a paper bag?
You can use a paper bag like a paper sack you would get at the grocery store. That would work as well.
So paper bag is okay. Okay, so if we get banned, we cannot use the plastic. We can use the paper.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so in that way, or what's come to what, just dump it into the green.
Yes, sir.
I really hate it because I don't want the red animal go inside. Okay, this and that, but the paper bag is allowable.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Madam Mayor.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you. Is the amount of savings from of materials that don't go into landfill, is that being tracked so that way we'll know how effective we are in all of this, so that we can work as a community for targeted goals for increased recycling?
Yeah, that's a great question, Mayor Pro Tem Contos. Like I mentioned, Athens has developed a proprietary, and I think it's best in class. In fact, we've gotten a lot of accolades from CalRecycle, which is the state governing body, on our data and reporting systems. So what we do is we collect all that information and we give it to the city for the city's annual reporting to CalRecycle. So yeah, we can absolutely help you track whether it's certain metrics or how well the program's being implemented. That is absolutely something we can do.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Just making sure that the contamination monitoring trucks have the City of Athens logo, right? Just okay.
Yes, they're clearly marked, and they'll be the drivers of those are typically wearing an Athens polo. They'll have an Athens badge, probably a safety vest as well. So yeah, they will be very visible, and they'll be very official looking, if you will.
Okay, sounds good. So clear plastic bags, brown bags, those brown sack bags. Do you guys provide these bags for the residents, or they just have to go purchase, or can they just, they're a place to get, and do you have any of that?
My recommendation is when you do your grocery shopping that you just, grab one of those bags or put your produce in it and then use that same bag to put your food scraps in when you throw it out.
It doesn't mean to start rolling up and grabbing it all, okay?
Right. I didn't
one
say
for
that.
your produce, all right? I'm just letting the residents
You can use the
know.
same bag. You can reuse that bag, in fact, right? Which is
Reuse.
also
I mean,
good.
we're recycling, so we're recycling everything that we touch out there just don't tie it up. I know when people get their groceries with their produce, sometimes they tie it up and they rip the bag. So just tie it up or don't tie it up, roll it up so that you can use those bags. Councilman Wu.
I just say if the plastic for the supermarket, they charge you 10 cents a bag, so you have to do the recycle bag all the time. Okay.
Not for the produce ones that I know.
Produce.
The plastic?
Yeah.
We know who goes grocery shopping.
Are we be saving that? I'm going to go there to steal a lot, okay? So,
Produce. No. Any other questions? Thank you. But yeah, just to refresh our memories of exactly what goes where, to have a visual of like all the examples that we normally utilize would be helpful for the community. But thank you again for coming out and letting them know. And if anybody here has questions, they are up there that are here. You can ask further questions, and they have examples there on the table. And I'm sure that for all our events that you will be there to teach all the residents out there and get that going. So
Obviously, I have a whole calendar here. We're going to be at a lot of city and community functions in the next couple months, so look out for us there. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. So now going on to the city manager's report, which will be given by acting city manager Mylan.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. On January 16th, during inspection of the courthouse parking lot sinkhole that formed in December 2025, it was discovered that the cause of the sinkhole was due to a damaged drain pipe, which caused erosion of the soil surrounding it. Staff immediately excavated the area and replaced the damaged pipe and soil, and then laid asphalt to complete the repairs and ensure that this type of hazard will not reoccur. City staff also replaced the bus shelter on Azusa and a Vine due to damages. Road repairs were completed by a street repairs crew on Cortez to eliminate pothole hazards. At the last council meeting, I know Mr. Grivich, I mentioned that we were going to be, in addition to the community meetings, we were going to be doing something a little bit different this year to be more transparent and work better with the community as we work our way through the budget process. So this year, what we're going to introduce is micro budget workshops. And what we're going to do, we're closed on Fridays at City Hall here, but we are going to have every Friday in March, we're going to have a morning session, an afternoon session. We'll also probably have a night session where residents will become able to come to meet with us in groups of, say, 4 to 6, and sit down with the city manager, the finance director, and we'll spend anywhere from 2 to 4 hours going through the budget and answer any questions you may have regarding the budget, the process, the different funding sources, and those questions that come up throughout the year at our meetings. That way, while our community meetings are broad-based, they cover a variety of topics, this will give us an opportunity to sit down with residents and drill down on their specific concerns within the budget, the different funding sources, different activities, and functions of city government. So with that, the executive assistant of the city manager, Diana Campos, will be setting up and taking reservations to come sit with staff and go through the budget. And this will take place every Friday in March, and we will have additional information at our next meeting. But I want to let you know that in addition to the community workshops, we are expanding, and we'll get more information out to the community before coming back with a proposed budget for the council to adopt. Additionally, for members, residents that have served on the audit committee, we're going to be reaching out to you tomorrow, and we're looking to set up a meeting next week to sit down again with the finance director, the city manager, both bring me up to speed, our current finance director up to speed, not only what's happened within the last year, but the past few years, address those concerns, look to move forward, be more productive in our meetings and our transparency. And then in the February 3rd meeting, the City Council will be appointing the Audit Committee to move forward. But I wanted to get some background on the meetings I've had in the last year, the previous years, and the concerns of the committee, and just get your feedback again to better educate current staff, because members of the Audit Committee have a lot of historical knowledge and have been here for a number of years in this community, and I'm anxious to hear what they have to say about our budget process, not just last year, but previous years, so moving forward we can do things better for this community.
Can I add to that, please?
Yes, please.
I know this is something that I discussed with the city manager and our finance director. I understand that we haven't had the audit committee meetings, and I wanted to make sure that your voice, those who served on the audit committee until this comes before us at our next council meeting, that you are able to give your input prior to the budget. So in this case, prior to the next council meeting, the finance director is more than willing to meet with the former audit committee as residents. And anybody else who'd like to join, just to put that until we put this into place at our next council meeting to make it official of the audit committee members. Thank you. Thank you.
The 2026 homeless count is scheduled for Wednesday, January 21st at the Cameron Community Center, 1305 East Cameron. It is scheduled from 8 p.m. to midnight. Volunteer opportunities are available. Anybody interested in volunteering can send the QR code on the screen or email our Community and Economic Development Division at ced@westcovina.org with your contact information to sign up and to get involved. West Covina Fire Explorer tryouts, Saturday, January 24th. From 9 to 12. Location will be at Fire Station number 2. And this is for candidates who've already submitted an application. On Monday, January 5th, the Cortez Community and Senior Center celebrated the start of 2026 with a toast. Over 200 seniors participated and grooved to DJ Rudy and a delicious meal prepared by Chefs Holly and Teresa. Join us for our next Valentine's Day celebration on Friday, February 13th. Contact Cortez Community and Senior Center at 626-331-5366 for additional information on how to get involved. To address the increased volume of public records requests and document processing, the city clerk's office will temporarily close to the public at 2 p.m. on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. We appreciate the public's understanding and cooperation. On Monday, January 19th, the San Gabriel Valley NAACP hosted the 27th annual San Gabriel Valley Tribute to Martin Luther King Day, honoring the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. This year's theme was The Fierce Urgency of Now. The event featured guest speakers, entertainment booths, and food. An MOU between the city of West Covina and the San Gabriel Valley NAACP was entered into for this event. The city of West Covina thanks the San Gabriel Valley NAACP for its partnership. Couples Connect, a workshop for couples. Reconnect, communicate, and strengthen your relationship at Couples Connect, a free and engaging workshop designed to help couples build healthier and more fulfilling partnerships. Join Mayor Letty Lopez Viado and relationship coach Kelly Dupuy for a dynamic evening focused on overcoming common relationship challenges and learning practical tools you can use immediately, whether you are newlyweds or have been together for decades. This past weekend, the West Covina Police Explorer Post 499 competed at the TAC Comp in Chandler, Arizona. 8 explorers represented our department and competed in several events against Police Explorer Posts from across the nation. And I'm proud to announce that our explorers received the following awards. First place in the high-risk stop category, and third place for the crisis negotiation team. I'd like to congratulate all the explorers who participated in this event and extend a sincere thank you to our advisors and department members who have assisted in their development and training. Their hard work, dedication, and professionalism were clearly demonstrated throughout the competition. We are extremely proud of their accomplishments and the way they represented the West Covina Police Department. Upcoming events, Homeless Count, again, Wednesday, January 21st at the Cameron Park Community Center. Couples Connect, Thursday, February 12th, Cortez Community and Senior Center. Martin Luther King tribute was on the 19th of this week. And that concludes my presentation for tonight.
Councilman Wu?
When I see the West Covina PD Explorer went to Arizona and have a training. And I want to thank CAWC, Chinese American Association, donate the $15,000 for their fund. Okay, because that time they don't have the fund, and I want to thank them. And you can see our future police officer have been trained, okay, and compete in the Arizona training ground. I think this is our futures, and we need to continue to support, okay, and the young explorer for our future. The second thing I want to mention is about when I walk into closed session, okay, and Eric, no, I'm not talking about closed session, okay, don't worry. No,
I'm not worried.
No. Lisa, look at me like, oh, what do you want to say? No. I'm talking about Eric, okay, talking about a very good news, okay, I just want to confirm with our city manager that Home Good is coming to Eastern Mall, and they're going to open it up, and they're going to hire more than 75 employees in West Covina. Okay, and they don't want to do a job fair in our senior center. So maybe the city manager can get a confirmation on that because it's such a great news. Okay, Home Good coming to West Covina, plus we're going to hire our residents 75 or more than 75. So maybe you can say something about that.
Absolutely. That news came right before our meeting tonight. So I will follow up with Home Goods tomorrow, confirm those details and put it out to the community and also include it in my next city manager's report.
Okay, thank you. Well, before moving to oral communication, we'd like to adjourn. Councilman Gutierrez?
Yes. And then for the audit committee, was there new applicants who applied?
We do have.
Yes, we do have applications.
Okay. You'll be sending that to us?
Yes, we will.
Okay, great. And then when it says you mentioned former, was there a new replacement for them already, or?
No, they're not currently an active.
Oh, okay.
That's why they couldn't meet, because they're not active. Their term expired, so they're no longer. We don't have to go technical. All that stuff is going to go bring forth to us.
Okay, great. And then the last thing is, do we know when? Since we're doing an update, do we know when the health department update will be brought to the council?
I can bring that next meeting.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. That's all.
As I was saying, before we're moving on to oral communication, we'd like to adjourn this meeting in remembrance of Rodolfo Rodriguez, known as Rudy, who served the city of West Covina with dedication and pride for 14 years. Since 2012, Rudy worked as a recreation leader at the Cameron Community Center on the night shift, where his behind-the-scenes effort ensured the facility was clean, well-maintained, and welcoming to the community. Rudy was known for his strong work ethic, his willingness to repair and maintain the facility, and his habit of always checking in to see how else he could help. I personally know him. He is awesome. And he's there late at nights, always willing to help with a smile. So we extend our heartfelt gratitude for his year of service and dedication to the city of West Covina. So if you could just have a moment of silence before we move on. Okay, we'll move on to oral communications. All right, so again, comments are limited to 3 minutes per speaker unless modified by the presiding officer to the city council. Requests to speak on agenda items will be heard prior to requests to speak on non-agenda items. Again, members of the public may not engage in behavior that is disruptive to the orderly conduct of the meeting, including but not limited to speaking off topic, speaking beyond the speaker's allotted time limit, making slanderous or profane remarks, or using loud, threatening, or abusive language which disrupts, disturbs, impedes, or renders infeasible the orderly conduct of the meeting. Members of the public may not threaten any person with physical harm or act in a manner that may reasonably be interpreted as an imminent threat of physical harm. When your name is being called, you may sit in the front row designated for public speakers, and the timer will start when your name is called. Assistant City Clerk, how many speakers do we have tonight?
Good evening, Mayor. We have 8 speakers.
Okay, go ahead and proceed.
Our first speaker is John Shoemaker, followed by Jim Grivich, followed by Josh Murray.
found because of the bright lights, I needed something to protect myself. By the way, I have extras if anybody would like one to protect themselves. Speaking of that, I never got a reply back on the accommodation I've requested, which was, in some cases, I might need more time depending on with the lights interfering with my ability to speak and things like that. A little bit more time would be beneficial, but I'll let you know. The comment I wanted to make tonight was about appointment to the Planning Commission. This individual is completely devoid of any knowledge of the issues of the city of West Covina. Also an inability or desire to lead. An example is the recall when he stated he was not familiar with the issues to remove Tony Wu, but he'd run against him a year or two before. So why are you running if you're not familiar with the issues? And as I talk to other people, they've said, the person has made comments, on forum and was asked a question and he was told he'd get back. And as the person told me, it was weeks ago. Guess he's still looking into it, from that standpoint. So hopefully, that's, one of those things that we can improve upon, get people who actually care about the city and pay attention to it and do what's needed. And that's my only comment for tonight, so I guess I really don't need any more time. But thank you. If anybody wants one, just let me know. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Jim Grivich, followed by Josh Murray, followed by Eric Panal.
It's Jim Grivich. I appreciate the comments the city manager made and the mayor about trying to respond to my last meeting relative to the audit committee. Unfortunately, you didn't respond to the issue I'm going to talk about tonight, which is, and yes, call me paranoid, but in your item number 2 on your agenda tonight, while it says it's about reappointment of council members to committees, in the Exhibit A that's attached to the resolution, talking about the audit committee specifically, while it mentions the 2 councilmen that are going to be reappointed, it also states that the audit committee only meets once a year. And the reason I passed out this resolution to you all is because when the city council adopted this resolution 4 years ago, it's very specific that it says the audit committee will meet at least quarterly. And I don't understand why in the resolution that's before you tonight that was changed to once a year. There's no mention of it in the staff report, and the subject in the thing was about reappointment of council members. So why would the city choose to use this device to change the frequency of meetings? Yes, I'm paranoid. Somebody's out there to get the audit committee. I don't know why. And I would like to ask that the council amend this action to change the language to quarterly instead of once a year. That's really all I'm asking for. Thank you.
Thank you. Speaker?
Our next speaker is Josh Murray, followed by Eric Panal, followed by Doug Four.
Hi, good evening, Mayor, members of the council. My name is Josh Murray, and I am here on behalf of West Covina Library. I would like to let the parents of 1st through 6th grade students know that today was our first day of our free after-school STAR tutoring program, which runs through May 21st. STAR tutoring is a small group in-person tutoring program held at select LA County Library locations, including West Covina, designed to help students improve their reading or math skills. Tutoring services are open to students who are enrolled in grades 1 through 6, and anyone interested should visit our website, lacountylibrary.org/star-tutoring to learn more about the program and to fill out the online interest form. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Eric Panal, followed by Doug Four, followed by Ray Vincent Vargas Jr.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. My name is Eric Pinnell, and I'm here. I'm a 29-year resident of this neighborhood. I'm here tonight to formally request information, transparency, and accountability regarding the proposed Del Norte development. I'm asking the city to clearly identify which department oversees this project, who is responsible for reviewing the developer's protocol, and what specific steps are required to ensure proper public notification and compliance with city standards. At the last Planning Commission meeting I attended, the developer stated that the printer that they had send out flyers, there was an error with them, and that prevented notices from being sent to all the residents within the required 500 feet perimeter radius. Fewer than 30 residents attended the very first meeting that was conducted at Del Norte. The developer later stated that an error was corrected, but they did not clarify when the correction occurred, how it was corrected, or which addresses actually received notice. I have personally spoken to dozens of neighbors within 100 feet of the 500 feet who state that they never received a flyer. Therefore, I'm requesting verified list of all the addresses within that 500-foot notification radius and confirmation of when and how the notice was provided. Second, the project itself has changed significantly since the original draft and drawing. The original plan did not include entrances to the city park, yet the access has now been added. I'm strongly opposed to this change. The request is simple and reasonable. This development shouldn't exceed 100 units. That it provide its own amenities, including dog park space, recreational areas, and gathering space like picnic gazebos. That our existing city park remain for community use, not become an extension of the private HOA. The developer right now is including a large private pool at the center of their community, accessible only to the HOA members. Meanwhile, they want access to the public park, the tennis courts, the dog park, little league courts. This creates an imbalance where the neighborhood bears the impact while the benefits remain to the private owners of those homes. This project is also inconsistent with other developments in West Covina, whose projects are located on main streets like the Cameron development or the one on Vincent. Those sit on major traffic flow streets. This development is not. It's being squeezed into a quiet residential neighborhood with a small park, little tennis court, dog park, little league space that was defining our community and is being disrupted. I'm not opposed to development. I'm just opposed to inappropriate development that disregards process, transparency, and neighborhood character. I respectfully ask the City Council to ensure proper notification, required accountability from the developer, and to protect the integrity of our neighborhood. The pastor who opened up in prayer today said, I'm praying for wisdom for you, and I would do the same so you would decide between right and wrong. Thank you very much. So which department would I get that information from as far as addresses and the 500 foot?
So, I've also let the department know your email address that you provided for us so they can reach out to you and answer questions.
Thank you so much.
And yes. At the end of every public comment, city manager will address everyone's concern up here. We just couldn't have a dialogue here, but thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Doug Ford, followed by Ray Vincent Vargas Jr., followed by Sherry Baroyan.
Hi, guys. My name is Doug Ford, Downtown West Covina Business District co-chair. I live in District 5, and I have 3 businesses in District 3. Last time I got up here, I talked about the 17% increase that I was sick to my stomach. It has gotten so much worse. We were lied to. We were misled, and there's no doubt about that. Neil, you lied to me in the email on December 15th that you sent me saying that there was only a 17% increase. That was an out-and-out lie. I am ashamed, you guys. On attachment 2, when I finally got it, there are 42 line items for businesses. And 22 of those line items, it went up over 100% increase. In 12 line items, it went up over a 50% increase. In 7 line items, it went up a 20% increase. And in 1 line item, it went up 17%. We were told it was only a 17%. I got my trash bill. It was December, $879.85 for a 3-yard, 5 times a week pickup. It then went to $1,505. With all the added fees, my trash bill now for my one restaurant is $1,850. Come on, you guys. How could La Puente only add 3%? How could Covina only add 5% to their businesses? You guys, the range went from 17% to 303% for businesses. Come on. I know I'm not the only business. Portos is pissed too. This is ridiculous. This is out and out wrong to do. I fell under the 71% increase. My franchise fee went from $97 to $179 now. And to lock my dumpster now is $123 to lock my dumpster every month. I told them, remove my lock. Then they charged me another $56 to remove my lock. And then the waste management surcharge is $44.31. How much money did we need to gather? I know you guys took $1.5 million to sign that deal. Why don't you give it to us back in scholarships for the small businesses that can afford it? This is robbery, you guys. I am sorry, but this is bad. We cannot afford this. Do you know how much Porto's trash went up? Why don't someone go ask them? The car dealerships? This is not good. How much money they need to raise? How much more money is this getting for Athens? And then the city tax. How much? How much were they trying to gather? 5 million? Or is this upping at 25 million or 50 million?
Since Athens is here, can we have a representative speak? And I'd like to also know the results of that information as well. Thank you.
Sherry Baroyan.
Now.
JD.
Yeah, Athens is here right now, so get them when you can. They're going up.
Good evening. Poor guy. You guys are going to give him a stroke or a heart attack because you guys are really raping the businesses here. All those businesses in downtown back there, they're struggling. And you guys keep taking advantage. Like I told you guys, the three of you, there's a big corruption here. Big damn corruption here. And he knows everything. You got to start speaking up, Mylon. And you're running the Muppet Show here. You're still running it. I can't wait for Herman to come, to blaze you guys. City attorney. Man, it looks like he has more authority than anybody in this house. Who voted for him? Who appointed him? He has more authority. He speaks over everybody here. It's sad what you guys are doing to the city. Total corruption. I'm with the gentleman with the Del Norte Park. Totally against it. The kids should be playing ball out there. They should be enjoying themselves. There should be a bigger dog park. No, but you're worried about the real estate. And she's so hung up on you because why? You're helping her with real estate. I don't know about this one. The only two good here are Contos and Gutierrez. Give him another pat. He deserves it. Because you are so corrupted too. With your husband, Bill. Chief of Police, you're doing a damn good job. That's Tony Quarantina. Keep doing a good job. He doesn't have enough staff, but give him the help. Give him the people to run the city. Trash is crazy. You guys heard about it. But you guys here, it's like the city of Bell. It's like the city of Arcadia. Look at Arcadia falling apart. They got the Asians running all of Arcadia right there. And it's bad. They're having a bunch of fights and feasts and all that. The Highway Patrol toy drive. How come the council people weren't there? How come he wasn't there? How come Tony Quarantina wasn't there? Just the two puppets. You know, you guys don't represent the city. You guys represent yourself because you guys are selfish people. You know, and I come to tell you guys to your face.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Sherry Barillion, followed by JD.
And you put on a good show. You're very
Next speaker.
My name is Sherry Brill, and I have several things that I want to talk about. Number one, I am not asking, I am a resident demanding that you go along with Jim Grivage, and there is no reason to have an audit committee for residents once a year. What is it that you're trying to hide that we're not going to have quarterly audits? This is out of line. That's one. Two, tonight on the agenda, you have the code of conduct. I am encouraging all members not to vote for it. It's 61 pages. Give us the opportunity to print it, review it, give our opinions, and then vote on it. Because I didn't get to read the entire thing before tonight. And who wrote the thing? That's what I want to know. Who is the author of it, and who was selected to do that? And as for the development the gentleman was talking about, I was one of the residents who went to the Del Norte. Now, the woman from the developer said that she already had plans made for a new extension for the dog park, as well as the water park there. But they have not brought them forward. Why have they not brought those plans forward? And she said they have a budget. We, the residents, have a right to know what that budget is, so that if it's, let's say, $2 million, I want that $2 million earmarked for Del Norte Park, not put someplace else to pay for a health club that we don't even have. We need to know exactly that development. I want to see the plans. I encourage the Planning Commission, do not vote for it until we see all the plans, including the dog park, the water, and what their budget is to give us, and how we could earmark that specifically for that. And I think that's all I had to say.
Thank you. Next speaker.
JD.
Athens. Good evening. Go Rounds. Great game. I'll be quick. I have a hard time understanding what took so long for you folks to bring this up to the forefront. I know about this since Gary was up here and you complimented him on how well of a speaker he was, and that was about, what, 2.5, 3 years ago? Why did it take so long for City Council, and especially staff, to be informed about how many trash cans, what goes in trash cans? We are the last city to go up, from what I understand. Plenty of examples out there to have been had. Yet tonight, I'm hearing you still asking where you put your dog poop. Doesn't make any sense. There's a pattern with City Council, and not just this council, but very pronounced in your council. Things come up for approval, and even if there's questions, you have to approve it. City manager? Oh, no. We're up against the clock. We need to get this approved tonight. You approved Athens last meeting, and here we are tonight. You're still asking about it, how it works. If you, City Council and City Management, are still in the dark, could you imagine how we residents feel? This is going to be implemented next month. We don't know when the citations are going to start, but we know we're going to have to comply with this, and you guys who have the inside track to it are in the dark. That's embarrassing. That's almost as embarrassing as the infighting that's been taking place up here. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
No further speakers, Mayor.
Thank you. Acting City Manager, will you please respond to public comments concerns?
Thank you. Mr. Shoemaker, thank you for your comments tonight. Mr. Grivich, I did get your hand out here regarding resolution 2021-33, and I did read what you've highlighted here, and I just needed to do some research to make sure that's the most current. For some reason, I think there has been an amendment to this resolution since that time, but I just need to check. I will get back to you. I'll give you a call tomorrow and double check. Understood. I'll confer with my city attorney before I move on. John Murray, thank you for the update on the library. Is it Pinal? Pinal. On the Del Norte project, ultimately it's going to be the Community Development Department, which includes building and planning, engineering, would be the people you'd first speak to regarding that project at Del Norte. I believe on January 27th, this matter is coming back before the Planning Commission. My understanding is some of the issues you brought up tonight are going to be addressed at that time. Some other things are going to be brought forward. I'd encourage you to attend that meeting. I provided you my card if you have additional questions. We're also going to have our community development director email you so you have a direct contact with any specific questions or concerns regarding this project moving forward. We do have a consultant on board specifically assigned to this project. So once it's finished with the planning commission, then it would become before the council. But hopefully before that, we resolve all the issues that have been brought to our attention from the resident community. Doug Four, I know you're up top there talking with Athens regarding the 1383 increase. I encourage questions regarding Athens to be directed to Athens. Again, I'm always available to assist where I can, but Athens is subject matter experts on this program, on the 1383, the recycling program and trash diversion. Ray Vargas, thank you for your comments. Again, for my part, since being up here, one of the things I've tried to do is be more transparent to the community, try to provide more opportunities from input from the community. So any mistakes that have made in the past don't happen in the future, and that information is more clearly communicated to the residential community and our business community. So hopefully I'm able to accomplish that to help alleviate some of the concerns of the residents and our commercial businesses. Sherry, thank you for your comments. And on the code of conduct, I did have council assist and with the code of conduct. That's an item on the agenda tonight. So I'll wait for that to come up and we can talk about it then. Again, on the development project for Del Norte, again, reach out to me, reach out to our community development director, anything regarding noticing handouts, outreach, those type things, and they'll work directly with the developer to enhance that. I know that's been a topic of discussion, and I believe they are going to be addressing that issue. JD, thank you for your comments. Again, echoing my thoughts and sentiments is, moving forward, I'm working to try to get more out there to the community. So everybody in this city, regardless of what title or position, business or resident you are, that information is readily available. So people are very well educated when a topic comes up, something comes to a vote, or something comes to an agenda item, that at least I've tried to provide as much information as possible for everybody out there. That concludes my comments for tonight, Ms. Mayor.
Councilman Wu.
Yeah, regarding the audit committee, I was in the audit committee, I think a couple years ago, and I remember I was attend quarterly. So I don't know why it changed into annually, but as I remember when I was a commissioner, I was attending every 3 months. So I don't think we change anything. So I don't know why.
I was going to pull number 2 anyways, and we could discuss that because you are correct. I believe what they did on this is that they just utilized the past, and that was already there. But all previous audit committee has been quarterly, and we can discuss that when we pull.
I think we check the attorney. We can revise, right?
Yeah, and Madam Mayor, this attachment is identifying the individuals that will be appointed to these committees. That will not control. What will control will be the resolution, and if the resolution says quarterly, then it'll be quarterly. Yeah, at a minimum, at least. So.
Correct. Okay. Well, okay. Councilman Gutierrez.
Yes. Can we make sure we add that to to the record? That it's not gonna.
That's what
you just stated.
Said.
Add it to the.
You just said that.
Yeah, part of the record, yes. The part of the minutes.
Yeah. So on to the consent calendar. If anybody else doesn't have any questions, with the exception of item number 4, pulled by acting city manager, is there anything you'd like to pull? I was going to pull number 2. So 2 is pulled, 4 is out. Anything else?
Do
Councilman Gutierrez?
Have we done the minutes yet?
That's number one.
I'm sorry?
That's under consent calendar.
We're on under consent calendar.
Okay. Oh, is it numbered? Okay.
What do you want to
the meeting minutes. The meeting minutes. The minutes of the meeting were number one, I guess, right?
You want to pull number one?
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else would like to pull anything? Okay, so do I have a motion to approve consent calendar just 3 and 5?
Okay, so move.
Yeah, 3 and 5, it's only approving. 1, 2, and 4 is pulled.
I'll move the motion.
We have a motion, Councilwoman Diaz, second, Councilman Wu. Roll call.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a motion by Councilwoman Diaz, a second by Councilman Wu to approve consent calendar items 2 and 5.
Oh, I'm sorry?
No.
3.
No, 1 and 5. No.
3 and 5.
3 and 5.
Approve 3 and 5.
Approve 3 and 5.
Correct.
Councilmember Gutierrez.
Yes.
Councilman Wu.
Aye.
Councilwoman Diaz.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Contos.
Aye.
Mayor Lopez Viado.
Aye. Motion passes. On to consent item number 1. Councilman Gutierrez?
Yes. For number 1, I want to recuse myself. So do I need to leave the room for that, City Attorney? If I'm going to recuse myself from the vote?
Well, how come?
The closed session, sorry. The closed session one, as it relates to me.
If there's no discussion, state your recusal. You don't have to leave the room. Any discussion on item number 1?
No.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll
Make a motion a second, and Councilman Gutierrez is recusing himself on that vote, or abstaining on that vote.
Roll call.
Move the motion.
For the motion number 1?
Second.
Motion and a second.
Thank you. I have a motion by Councilman Wu. Did you make the motion? And a second by Councilwoman Diaz for agenda item number 1. Councilmember Gutierrez.
Abstain because I'm part of the item.
Councilman Wu.
Aye.
Councilwoman Diaz.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Contos.
Aye.
Mayor Lopez Viado.
Aye. Motion passes. On to item number 2. I just wanted to make sure that the whole audit committee has been fixed and corrected. So if we can make sure.
We'll let the record reflect that we will review the resolution, the most recent resolution, and ensure that they meet quarterly. And that would be the controlling document. Anyway, this one is really just controlling and identifying individuals that will be from council that will be on the audit committee. But for the record, we will confirm that.
Okay. Any other questions?
Move the motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilman Wu, a second by Mayor Lopez Viado regarding consent calendar item number 2, mayoral appointment of city council members, representatives to various advisory boards and committees. Councilmember Gutierrez.
Aye.
Councilman Wu.
Aye.
Councilwoman Diaz.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Contos.
Aye.
Mayor Lopez Viado.
Aye. Motion passes. 4 has been pulled by city manager, so that completes our consent calendar. On to item number 6, public hearing, consideration of adoption of an ordinance to adopt by reference the 2026 Los Angeles County Building, Electrical, Plumbing, Mechanical, Residential, and Existing Building Codes, which adopt by reference the 2025 California Building, Electrical, Plumbing, Mechanical, Residential, and Existing Building Codes with certain amendments, additions, and deletions thereto. At this time, there will be a presentation of the staff report, correct? And then we shall hear comments from the public. So, City Manager, who will present the staff report?
Assistant City Manager Neil Mehta will present tonight.
Okay.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and members of City Council. Tonight's agenda item is the second reading of an ordinance to amend Chapter 7 and 9 of the city's municipal code in order to adopt by reference the 2026 Los Angeles County amendments to the 2025 California Building Standards Codes. As you may know, the California Building Standards Commission updates the statewide construction codes every 3 years. These updates are intended to improve safety, sustainability, and overall building performance across the state. Local jurisdictions are permitted to make amendments to these state codes, provided those changes are supported by findings related to local topographical, geographical, or climate conditions. With this ordinance, staff is recommending that the city adopt the 2026 Los Angeles County amendments to the 2025 California Building Standards Codes, along with specific local amendments that are necessary to protect the health, safety, and welfare of our community. This evening, we respectfully are requesting the City Council to conduct the second reading by title only, waive further reading of the ordinance, and set a public hearing. We would be happy to answer any questions that you may have. We have staff here on site to ask.
Any questions of staff by council members? Councilman Gutierrez.
Yes. Why does it say Exhibit A and B to the resolution were not available at the time of writing this report? They will be incorporated into the resolution once available.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, members of the council. My name is Dennis Tarango. I'm the building official, and this is Jason Robbins, the building supervisor. We're here to answer any questions.
Great. So in your staff report, it states Exhibits A and B to the resolution were not available at the time of writing this report. They will be incorporated into the resolution once available.
Mayor, through the chair, Councilmember Gutierrez, I believe that was a copy paste from the previous report, and those were the handouts that were provided to this council and to the public at the previous meeting when the ordinance was introduced.
Okay, so it's because on here it says to be inserted once available.
Right. I believe that when the staff report for the second reading of the ordinance was written, that those lines were just not removed from the introduction of the ordinance, which took place 2 weeks ago.
So is there a rush to approve this?
Second reading. There is no rush to approve this. No, the state already has adopted the code. We're just doing our local amendments to improve how we administer the code.
So it's up to my council colleagues, but I have major concerns because the public didn't get this online, and we didn't even get it, so it's blank. So
that was provided to this council online as an update for the introduction of the ordinance, as well as I provided handouts to each council member at the last meeting.
At the first reading. This is second reading and adoption. So at the first reading, city clerk handed to council the document, put it up for the public to view, and for the second reading and adoption, it was online for public to review. Is that correct?
No one told me that was the case. So
I did mention it.
Where is that
at the last meeting? You asked that question, and I did tell you that it was being submitted to the council tonight and up for the public, and you said okay. And then it's online. You just click on the link, and it's already there. So the public had it. This is second reading and adoption.
Let me see if I can find it, but go ahead.
While you're waiting, Mayor Pro Tem, did you have questions?
No, I was going to say the same thing. This is second reading. It was already made available previously in case my colleague didn't see it. It was provided to us, and the public also did have access. Just for factual clarification.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Councilman Wu?
Okay, move the motion to approve.
Second.
Roll call.
I have a motion by Councilman Wu with a second by Councilwoman Diaz. Councilman Gutierrez?
Do you have a copy of those numbers so fast?
So that was provided at the meeting where we did an introduction to this ordinance. This is the second reading of the ordinance.
It's online, you said?
Yes, sir.
And while we're at it, Madam City Clerk, have you received any comments concerning West Covina Building Code adoption?
No, I haven't. Actually, we should finish the public hearing before we go ahead and the motion is noted. I'm sorry. We should close the public hearing portion before we take a vote.
Thank you.
No, the City Clerk's office did not receive any comments.
Okay, thank you.
Can you clarify the number that was the recognized obligation payment?
No, this is the building code item.
That's not this item.
Which one?
We're on item 6.
We're on item 6.
Acting city manager pulled item 4. We're on item 6.
Oh, okay. Okay, yes.
Did you
clarify? You did ask me last meeting. So does that clarify it, Councilmember Gutierrez?
Yes,
it does. Okay, thank you, Madam
Oh,
Mayor.
yes, yeah.
Any other
So roll call, though, we'll start beginning roll call.
Yes, if we could want to just go ahead and close the public hearing at this time, if that's okay, Mayor?
Yes, please.
So the public hearing is closed. I have a motion by Councilman Wu, a second by Councilwoman Rosario Diaz for item number 6. And that is the consideration of an ordinance to adopt by reference the Los Angeles County Building, Electrical, Plumbing, and Mechanical Ordinance. Councilmember Gutierrez.
Yes.
Councilman Wu.
Aye.
Councilwoman Diaz.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Cantos.
Aye.
Mayor Lopez Viado.
Aye, motion passes. Okay, on to City Council request for report studies and investigation, item number 7, consideration of an ordinance amending Chapter 2 of the West Covina Municipal Code to adopt a City Council Code of Conduct and adoption of a resolution regarding legislative intent and implementation. Assistant City Manager, Acting City Manager, who will present the staff report.
Madam Mayor, I have outside counsel Tom O'Connell here tonight.
Proceed.
Good evening, Council. Again, this is Tom O'Connell from Buckalter. I'm outside employment counsel for the City of West Covina. I was asked to provide comments on this code of conduct and otherwise provide contributions to it based on the 11 years that our office has been working with cities, particularly cities that are dealing with council-related actions. This is unfortunately something that has become rampant throughout the state of California and nationwide. And the primary problem that cities, particularly general law cities in the state of California, have is that if a council member is found to have committed misconduct, there are very little, if any, repercussions. So,
Excuse me, do you mind if the public, if you can take your conversation outside? We could hear you. Excuse me. Excuse me, hi. Do you mind if you can take the conversation outside so that everybody can hear him? Thank you. All right, thank you. All right, continue.
Hi. All right, so going back to this, the context behind this is that nationwide these claims are going up substantially. I can't speak to what's happened in the city of West Covina, but I can speak to what's happened in upwards of 60 cities throughout the state of California, where there's been employees that have reported things like sexual harassment or retaliation against council members. And when there's a finding against a council member, the council has nothing that they can do. The idea behind this code of conduct is relatively simple, and it's divided into 4 different divisions. The first division of the code of conduct is general provisions. It lays out the overview from which all of the rest of the code of conduct should be viewed through the lens of. So, for instance, it talks about the applicability, their limits, and it always goes back to statutory and constitutional construction. Nothing in this code of conduct is meant to, and in fact, it has numerous disclaimers that say it is limited by the state of California's constitution and statutory authority. Division 2 is standards of conduct. The standards of conduct in this lays out essentially behavior expectations and things that could be reported regarding council members. I would encourage you to go through these. This is the first reading of the code of conduct, to be clear. So there will be a second reading to the member of the public's comment. This is not being passed tonight. It is the first reading of the ordinance. But included in those standards of conduct includes abuse of power or things like harassment, retaliation, intimidation. It is meant to be encompassing of the various things that we've seen through my career and others that council members are being accused of and creating risk to the city, its operations, and its governance. The third division is a very detailed review and reporting mechanism for the city to be able to adopt. It is meant to be very standardized so that there is not a haphazard way to deal with this process. And we can go through that process. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. But generally speaking, it goes to the city manager or the city manager's designee to do an initial review. If it appears to the city manager based on very specified criteria that this is a complaint that needs to be viewed by the city council as a whole, it will then go to the city council to determine next steps. Those next steps can include an investigation, a preservation letter to tell the city council member, whether it's a complainant or respondent, that they need to preserve all records related to the particular claim. It could even be something where you engage an outside, almost like an adjudicatory person that would have the ability to ask and delve into these issues if there's credibility determinations. It's a more formal process than investigation. You're also able to rely on external sources. So, for instance, if there was an FPPC complaint and there was some kind of viability, sustained FPPC complaint, then you'd be able to rely on that when you're considering what type of governance-based measures you could take. And then the last is Division 4, the governance-based measures. Again, this is not an employment action. There is a very substantial body of law related to what actions you can take related to employees of a city. Administrative leave, suspension, termination. For council members, there is not a substantial body of law. So a lot of times what ends up happening is you have cities that are taking precautionary measures or immediate measures almost on an ad hoc basis, trying to determine what would be the best way to deal with an individual situation. This lays this out in an extremely progressive way where you can say the severity, the pattern, the context, the complexity, it lays out the options that a city would have so that there is total transparency, not just to the public, but to the council members of what it is that could happen should there be a finding of misconduct by the city. I understand that there's concern about the fact that this is a longer code of conduct. This is simply based on the complexity and making sure that it is completely transparent so that the process to the council, to staff, to any person that's impacted by the city has full disclosure about what it is that the city is doing to ensure that the council is acting appropriately going forward. To that, I will answer any questions that you may have. I'm sure there will be one or two.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm pretty sure there's going to be many. So I know for the public out there, there are rules for city employees. It's intensive, sexual harassment, just all kinds of different things. But when it comes to the council, there's really not much information out there. I know City of LA actually has a section that says how to report a council member, whether it's their bad behavior, just plethora of many things that has been occurring. We have been seeing abuse of power and just overall general information that is out there. This is greatly appreciated, but can you also, for the public, I know you also attached 2 articles that had an example, like the rise and fall of a Poway City Council member, Tony Blaine, and then another one that had City of Arcata?
Arcata. It's in Northern California, Arcata, not Southern California, Arcadia.
Not Arcadia, Arcata, A-R-C-A-T-A. Can you please let the public know what those situations were so that they have an understanding of this is not just occurring here, it's occurring in other locations, but I want to make sure that it stops and we have something in place that to prevent all measures to, as I mentioned, harassment with staff, harassment with the public, residents, and within each other. So please explain that.
Yeah, not a problem at all. And that's referenced on the first and second pages of the staff report. The city of Poway is not something that I am intimately familiar with. It has been publicly reported in many different news outlets. This has resulted in a potential recall. It resulted in a lawsuit between the city and a council member, and then ultimately it resulted in the resignation of that council member. The problem is that the amount of resources and time that the city had spent on this particular matter, and not just that, but also the publicity that was spent on this matter, obviously has created significant issues for the city of Poway. City of Arcata, I was intimately involved with and was the lead attorney in charge of securing a workplace violence restraining order against a sitting council member by another city council member and 3 employees of the city. To say that that was a disruption to governance, that it created extreme risk and liability for the city, and otherwise increased the cost for the city when they could have been doing good for the city, was important. But again, these are two extreme situations. The city of Arcata involved a council member that was stalking city employees, and we've attached to this staff report just so that there's some clarity of just how bad this situation can get. This council member was allowed to continue sitting on the dais as they were stalking a city employee that they had to interact with from the dais. To say that that is an absurd result if you had an employee relationship is an understatement. If you had an employee that was stalking another employee, council would immediately recommend that there's administrative leave, that there's investigation, that there's some adverse employment action. With council members, the options are unfortunately extremely limited, and it places the city in a position that is untenable.
Thank you. So as the public knows, I know, obviously, the council, we have an investigation that is still occurring, which I'm hoping that it will come out soon in regards to all those things that was mentioned previously. I know that from the standpoint of the city, even myself, I can't say everything to the public, which is the truth will come out when we have this investigation come out. But my issue is a lot of things that we agreed as a council. The frustration that I have is in public, the council here agrees and say, okay, yes, we're not going to do that, right? And then behind closed doors, things that you don't see, things that you don't hear, continues on. And so, and I'm saying, like, for example, I know, when we mention about code of conduct, some basic steps, and I don't remember what council meeting was at, but I specifically laid out some ground rules, and this body of council agreed, and I said effective immediately. That happened that night. Well, guess what? The very next day, one council member turns around and does not listen. So I'm going to give this example. Here we go, going again. Serving. I've made it very clear. If you are going to serve city staff, please put it at a place of business, not to their personal homes, family, and so forth. Our city manager was served, but unfortunately, they bothered his parents that are 90 years old in the middle of the night while they're sleeping, pounding on that door, knocking to try to serve our city manager when that council member could easily come here, which have access. We've had all these things, and it's frustrated because we don't go and gossip and tell everything, but that's why I wanted to make sure this is something set in stone, because one council member says it's not in writing. It's not, and it's silly because there are some ground rules, things that are inappropriate, things that should not occur is still occurring. But I'm going to let my other council calling say if there's any questions, but I appreciate these details. And yes, we brought in an outside legal. We don't want to have anything where we're have any say of what this is. So the outside council created all these, and they looked at different places, different rules, and we wanted to make sure that there is teeth and that there's things that are, it's pretty much one council member wants it in writing, goes very technical. Well, here it is technical. Here's all the information, and it's very clear. Now, I want to make sure tonight that if there's any questions or any concerns, it needs to be brought up in regards to this code of conduct, because this is going to be our layout, our blueprint. So that leaves me with that. I know Councilwoman Diaz has a question. Go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Mr. O'Connell. So this here is just the beginning, right, as far as the rules of conduct, because it doesn't get into specifics.
Oh, it's the ordinance, not the resolution. Right?
Yeah, so there's going to be multiple parts to how the code of conduct would work. Okay. And this is somewhat complicated, so I'll try to say it in the way that I would say is the easiest way to explain it. The code of conduct is the governing authority that gives the city council an agreed upon methodology to work through if there's a code of conduct violation. Now, within the code of conduct, if you look at Division 2, it lays out very specific things that could violate it, but it also incorporates the rules of decorum. It could incorporate policies that the city has. For instance, the city manager, city council form of government. It incorporates each of these things within it. So it's not to say that this is all encompassing. It's meant to be all encompassing. This is meant to be the cornerstone of the city's code of conduct.
Okay, so once this is approved, if it gets approved, then what comes next?
Well, what would come next after that, for instance, if there was a need to establish a policy that lays out things regarding, as an example, let me just give you one example here really quick. There's been some questions regarding the city council, city manager form of government. That is an extremely common issue throughout the state of California, where a city manager is supposed to be the only person that is directing staff or otherwise controlling city resources at the purview and direction of the city council. Numerous cities, this is not a West Covina problem, this is a nationwide problem, have issues where the city council member will go directly to staff and try to direct resources for their own, it could be personal gain, it could even be inadvertent. That's something that you would accomplish through a policy of laying out more fundamental things, because if you did that through a municipal code, that's something that should be a lot more malleable and fungible as you're going forward, as opposed to the cornerstone saying, improper direction of city operations, which is under 2710, misuse of city resources. It lays out the cornerstone of city resources shouldn't be misused, but it doesn't say, thou shalt not pay phone calls from this particular office or something along those lines.
Okay. I just want the audience to know exactly what this is versus what comes next.
Absolutely.
As far as policies. So, thank you.
Councilman Wu.
Okay, really quick. Okay, thank you, Mayor. Okay, and one thing is, okay, for the speaker came over here with the freedom of speech, they can accuse anything. Okay, they can say, hey, this corruption, this and that. We already hired the outside investigator, okay, including a forensics investigator to check all the finance, to check all the wrongdoing from the outside third party. I think the report will come out pretty soon, right? So I think that if anything wrongdoing by any city council, the report will show to us, show to the public. So I think for the people hide behind the freedom of speech, came over here with their accusation, better to see about what investigation coming out. So, and if not, they better to understand they cannot hide behind the freedom of speech to wire accusation. So this is the first thing. Second thing regarding the code of conduct. So this code of conduct apply to all the elected, right? So all 5 of us will be compliant with what this is about. So it's not to one person or this and that. So all 5 of us, including all the elected, including all the person we appointed, including the commissioner. Okay, am I right?
The only difference between the elected and commissioners is there's actually more power that the council and your municipal ordinances have as it relates to commissioners. You can remove a commissioner because they're not an elected official. Elected officials have significantly more statutory and constitutional framework behind it. So this is actually primarily, if not entirely in most sections, related to the electeds.
So elected, including the 5 city council with the 5 district, well, including the treasurer and the city clerk?
No, those the treasurer and city clerk. When you're saying if it's an elected position, it could, but this is more related to the city council. It's the city council code of conduct.
So it's only applied to city council. That's other 2 positions elected is not comply with this.
If you wanted to add that, or if you wanted to add any elected officials to that, that would take an amendment of this municipal code. But right now, this is written strictly for the city council code of conduct.
I think if this is applied to the 5 city council elected, I think all elected should be compliant with the same rule. Okay, and so I would prefer to all elected, and we comply with the same code of conduct. So in that way, we don't want later on, some elected, because not including this, they can do something. But again, we want to be a fairness to everybody will comply based on this. Not only 5 of us. When we retire, the future city council will comply with this. So everybody in the future, or the city council member should have this code of conduct. And everything is written, so the city attorney can throw this to the any current or future city council member.
Yeah, and to your point, Councilmember Wu, elected officials are the primary person that this is directed towards. It is explicit as it relates to city council. So to the extent that the council, it was their desire to make it any elected official, that would be a minor amendment to what's actually stated in here, not a significant amendment.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
Councilman Gutierrez?
Yes. So let's see. Yes. Mr. O'Connell, does the mayor have the authority or power to make rules that dictate the Superior Court's rules or state law or federal law on how to serve someone?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand your question. Can you repeat it?
So you know how you serve someone a process service? You hire a licensed processor to serve a court document. Can the mayor dictate rules and how the judicial system has rules and how to serve someone?
While I'd love to be able to comment on that, that's outside of the current agenda item.
Okay, well, she made a comment about it, which the answer is no. Let's see. The audit forensics, what is the status of the audit forensics? Because the investigator told me that city staff was narrowing it down, and so any changes to what was publicly given, I think it's important that this council decides what is narrower down means. Is a retainer letter is different than what is, I believe, being investigated.
Yeah, Councilmember Gutierrez, again, while I would love to be able to provide you with answers related to things that are part of the investigation or anything else I might have knowledge of, I believe the Brown Act requires me to only have a discussion regarding agendized items.
Okay, so I'm just answering her questions. But, okay, what specific statute authorizes a city to condition a duly elected council member's participation or assumption of duties on signing an acknowledgement drafted by the city attorney?
Councilman, and I believe this was a question that you asked by email, and that I've answered it. Let me just be clear. You're talking about the notice and acknowledgement, and just so that everybody's on the same page here, I'll turn to that if you'd like. The notice of acknowledgement is similar to, if not almost identical to, the concept of a notice of acknowledgement if you were to receive sexual harassment avoidance training. So let me be clear with how that would work. If Councilmember Gutierrez or Councilmember Wu, Lady Lopez-Viado, Cantos, or Rosario Diaz were to attend a sexual harassment avoidance training and they signed what's called a notice and acknowledgement, what that means is that they are on notice and they are acknowledging that they have received those rules or otherwise received that training. If they don't sign the notice and acknowledgement, that does not mean that that gives them carte blanche to go out and sexually harass or intimidate or create a hostile work environment. It is literally giving notice of these rules. So for this, if there was a council member that did not sign the notice and acknowledgement, that would not change the legal effect of this municipal code. It is literally giving the council member notice of this code.
So it's voluntary. So if you don't want to sign it, you don't have to sign it?
If you look at the code section, I believe it's actually the last section of it, it says that the council member could refuse to sign this, but it could be taken into account if there is a later governance-based measure. So, for instance, if a council member said, I never received this and I didn't believe that I was in violation of the standards of conduct, that would not be an excuse. In fact, trying to demonstrate that you did not receive it would be negligent on that council member's part.
Yeah, I think, okay. And is there any provision in the California Constitution, government code, or election code that allows a city to delay or restrict an elected council member from serving because they declined to sign a city-created acknowledgement?
A notice and acknowledgement? No. No, the oath of office is the only thing that if you were to fail to actually take the oath of office, I believe there's a government code, and there might even be something within the Constitution, but I know there is within the government code that says that that could cause you to not be allowed to take it. For a delay, the oath here, this is not an oath, it is a notice and acknowledgement. Literally, you are acknowledging that you've received something.
And can you please cite the legal authority that permits the city attorney, a legal advisor, to control the form and approval of an acknowledgement that affects elected participation? I believe your 61 page or a bunch 41 of pages here talk about how the city attorney will have reserved power to make changes to it.
That's actually not accurate, Mr. Gutierrez.
Well, that's why I'm asking.
If you would look at the actual section of it, it says that the city attorney is allowed to make non-substantive format changes. So, for instance, if there was someone that needed a larger font so that they could read it or otherwise view the document, the city attorney would be allowed to tell the clerk to have the notice of acknowledgement in a 14-point font as opposed to, or a 18-point font. The actual notice of acknowledgement is laid out very specifically here about what the language would be, and it would take an amendment to the municipal code for that notice of acknowledgement to change.
Okay. And then just to confirm, isn't the only legally required precondition for assuming office the constitutional oath under Article 10, Section 3 of the California Constitution?
Is it Article 10 or is it Article 20?
What's it article? It's XX.
XX is 20.
Yeah, 20.
I don't have your notes, so I'm just going based off memory, but I think it's Article 20, Section 3 is the oath of office. Okay. I'm not aware of anything else, but I'd have to do research into that.
And can you point to any law that allows a city to add additional prerequisites beyond the constitutional oath for elected officials?
I didn't understand. I heard a word with a P, but I didn't hear what that word was. Could you repeat that if you don't mind?
Yes. Can you point to any law that allows a city to add additional prerequisites beyond the constitutional oath for elected office?
Prerequisites?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Sorry. And now I can actually hear the whole question again. Mm-hmm. Sorry. I was trying to hear just that one word and didn't understand the rest of it. I got so focused on that. I apologize, Councilmember Gutierrez. So can I identify any statute or what did you say that allows you to have a prerequisite?
Can you point to any law that allows a city to add additional prerequisites beyond the constitutional oath for elected office?
I'm not aware of any other prerequisites that can be added beyond what the California Constitution is, but I believe that the government code has numerous things in it that point to what would make it so that you are eligible or ineligible to hold office, what would make it so that you could be ineligible even once you've assumed office, you could be deemed to have actually vacated the office. There's many things within the government code. I couldn't tell you which one you're actually asking about, but there's many.
Great. Would restricting a council member's ability to participate in public meetings violate the Brown Act's requirement that the legislative body conduct its business opening under Government Code 54953?
Gosh, I don't want to give you an objection as if this is a deposition, but that would be an incomplete hypothetical. I don't know what the totality of the situation is, but it is not uncommon. In fact, I've been a part of it where a council has voted as a interim governance-based measure to make it so that a council member no longer participates on certain commissions or is removed from commissions based on the actual risk that that council member is causing to the city or to members of the commission.
Great. And how does this ordinance avoid infringing on the electorate's right to representation by restricting their elected council member?
How does I don't believe that there's anything in this ordinance that restricts the council member. Can you point to what you're discussing? I'd be happy to discuss more specifically.
Yeah. How does this ordinance avoid infringing on the electorate's right to representation? So you indicated that the signing the acknowledgement is voluntarily, but then there's a requirement that the body can make it a requirement. I think in your own writing, it's stated that.
No, I'm sorry. Perhaps I'm misunderstanding you. So there's a notice of acknowledgement within, I just want to make sure that we're on the same page. There's a notice of acknowledgement that the council member would execute when they're submitting their paperwork, when they're sworn in, or when they are reelected. Agreed?
Great. And then,
no, I just want to make sure we're on the same page. So that
it's more clarifying. Yeah, the acknowledgement. And so the next question is, if failure to sign may delay participation, how can the acknowledgement truthfully require me to state that I signed voluntarily and without coercion?
I believe that language is actually less stringent than the oath of office. So, for instance, the oath of office actually says something significantly more stringent than what you're saying here. Knowingly and understanding what you have provided, if you decided that you didn't want to sign, then you are allowed to not sign, but you would essentially be saying, I'm refusing to sign that I have reviewed, understand, or I guess agree to comply with the municipal code. There are many, many more parts of the municipal code than just this one particular article. Whether you sign a notice of acknowledgement or not, you are bound to comply with West Covina law. Actually, that's part of your oath of office from Article 20, Section 3, that you will fully and faithfully do the duties of your respective office.
Great. And then when the mayor was talking, she made it seem like she knew that you were doing this report.
I can't speak for what you're
I never
interpreting
said that.
her.
You mentioned it right in front and said you put it together. So I just went exactly what you said right after.
I mentioned it, yes.
Yeah, I didn't.
I think you're attributing. I know City Manager Mrakic is very similar to Letty Lopez Viado, but I think you're attributing his statement to her.
Yeah. So.
And Tom O'Connell's name is prepared by Tom O'Connell's on the report, and I believe it's on your script as well, Mayor.
On here too. It's on the sheet for all to see.
So it's not a secret.
Well, it's a secret because his contract doesn't say he does constitutional law or Brown Act law. So I'm a little confused in how he continues to be paid by taxpayer money. How much does this cost taxpayers to do?
Again, this isn't part of the actual agenda item.
I know, but the taxpayers want to know how much it costed them.
Councilmember, I'd like to follow the Brown Act.
Yeah.
I don't want to violate the Brown Act.
Okay, so let me rephrase my question.
Sure.
You did this report, correct?
I did.
How much did it cost taxpayers?
That's not part of this discussion item. The discussion item is about the code of conduct. It does not.
So you're refusing to answer a transparent question about how much it costed taxpayers to do this document?
And Councilmember Gutierrez, I think I previously said to you that if you have questions about that, I'm happy to, but I can't answer it as part of the Brown Act. I don't want to create a Brown Act violation.
It's on the same subject, so we're not violating the Brown Act. I'm asking an honest question. How much did it cost to do this? But we'll move on.
Not.
And then isn't conditioning participation on signing this form a form of compelled speech under the First Amendment?
No.
Would this acknowledgement survive constitutional scrutiny under Houston Community College System versus Wilson of 2022, which limits the city's ability to discipline elected officials?
It's interesting. It's an interesting question. I'd want to be able to see the case and read it in full, but I've prosecuted cases that are more recent than 2022, so I would be curious to see what the holding of that case is. I unfortunately, as much as I try, I don't have an eidetic memory of all case law throughout the state of California.
Okay. And would this ordinance expose the city to liability for potentially violating the Voting Rights Act or the Brown Act if it restricts elected participation?
It would depend on how it was used. If it was used improperly, there's any number of different ways to expose the city to liability. The act as written does not.
So would there be safeguards written into this? Because I didn't see any safeguards in here.
If you read through it, there's actually numerous safeguards built into it.
Can you name one?
Sure. How about there's a safeguard in it regarding misuse of the act itself?
What is the detail?
Do you want to flip to it with me? I'm happy to go over it with you.
You could just read this line.
You want me to read the whole thing?
Oh, just a small, it's a whole section or what page?
What in particular would you like me to read? So for instance, it's section 2-723. It's titled Safeguards Against Misuse of Process.
What page is that? I think
29.
Okay.
Safeguards Against Misuse of Process. So when you're asking if there's any safeguards built in, I mean, this is one of many, talking about different safeguards that are built into the code.
Okay, great. And you as outside counsel, do you commit that this ordinance is lawful and commit on the record that refusal to sign will not prevent any council member from participation in council meetings?
I can say that with the way that it is written, that it is lawful. I can say that it has been reviewed by my office as well as Jones Mayor to be able to say that it has been reviewed and is in compliant with state and constitutional law as written. I cannot commit that for now until the end of time that someone will not try to violate this law or otherwise create liability for the city. That is something I wish I could commit to, but it's not possible.
I'm talking specifically about the acknowledgement. So if an elected member does not sign the acknowledgement, do you commit that they're not going to be prohibited from participation in their duties?
I guess what I have a problem with the premise of the question. I am not the one that would be enforcing this law. This would be enforced by the city of West Covina through its city manager, city attorney, and the council. So I cannot commit to say that someone will not try to misuse the statute as written. So this could be 20 years from now that someone.
You said the key word, not misuse. So in other words, no.
No, that's not accurate.
Well, you say misuse. So why you say misuse?
I'm saying that, for instance, if there is a violation of it, you could actually have a violation of the standards of conduct. For instance, an abuse of power. Someone could try to abuse their position and not allow someone to be seated, which would actually be a violation of the standards of conduct.
Okay. So under the formal, and then also, under what formal council authorization was outside counsel Butch Alter retained to draft or revise on this governance code?
Again, I'm happy to answer questions regarding the code of conduct. If you'd like to ask those questions separately, I just don't want to violate the Brown Act, Councilmember Gutierrez.
Okay, next question. Please identify the council resolution approving their scope of work and the compensation for this ordinance.
It's unfortunately, Councilmember Gutierrez, I have to keep on saying to you, I need to follow the Brown Act. So any discussion, I think you're familiar with the code section. It's 54954.2. It says that you can't have any discussion undertaken about something that's not appearing on the posted agenda. I can't discuss things that are not on the posted agenda. I'm happy to answer questions separately. I'm happy to do these other things, but I have to comply with the Brown Act. It's important to me. I think important to the city also.
Yes, and it is in compliance with the Brown Act because you produce a document, and I think the taxpayers have the right to know how much it costs them. Next question. Does the city attorney have independent authority to retain outside counsel for legislative matters without council vote?
I have no idea how this is related to the code of conduct, but I'm
can
happy
the city
to.
attorney answer that? Or are you his lawyer?
I'm sorry, what was the last comment? I heard it, but it was.
So does the city attorney have independent authority to retain outside counsel for the legislative matters without a council vote?
Is this one of the, I'm sorry, I just want to make sure I understand. Are you referring to the investigations or?
No, I'm referring to your report here that says has your name that you did it. So.
Oh, you're not asking about the code of conduct. You're asking about something separate. Okay.
No, I'm asking about your report. It has your name on it. So. I'm asking, does the city attorney have independent authority to retain outside counsel for legislative matters without a council vote?
Okay. I'm going to again repeat, we have to stay.
You want to have the city attorney answer the question?
I think I'm answering it, but
beyond the scope.
Okay, too.
Beyond the scope.
Okay, so
Councilmember
public has no
you've
right.
asked the same question about 6 or 7 times and you got the same answer. It's beyond the scope.
Yeah, but no one wants to talk about finances when taxpayers are paying for
We're talking about the rules of decorum.
And actually, with everything that has been come out and including any documents, consent, I mean, the public hearings and so forth, and things that are come out with council's requests, they're not always, a dollar amount is not included on it. So just wanting to let you know that. I wanted to add a few things, but can we have other councils to also speak? Before we continue, I just want to make sure the public knows. I know it's a lot of pages. I'm just going to read the heading so you have a better picture of everything that is occurring. So attachment number 1 is the rules of decorum. And these are the sections: addressing the council, manner of addressing city council, time limit, person addressing may be sworn, decorum required, enforcement of decorum, persons authorized to be within council area. So that was the section 1, attachment 1. And as you've seen, when we had a little hiccup, nobody knew what to do, nobody knew how to go. Well, now we have this in stone of how things should be done. So we don't have this situation and waste the public's time. On attachment number 2, you have the ordinance, and that is the purpose and scope, the definition, the applicability, acknowledgement, construction. And then division 2 is the standards of conduct, which is the general standards of conduct, abuse of position or influence, improper conduct towards participants, ethics, conflicts of interest and self-dealing, material misrepresentation and concealment, misuse of city resources or information, election-related misconduct, public safety and threatening conduct, conduct undermining the lawful functioning of the city governance or city operation. And then you have division 3, reporting and review, which you have the overview, the preliminary administrative review by city manager or designee, a secondary administrative review by city council and threshold action, preservation of documents, communication and records, investigation, independent fact-finding and advisory proceedings, reliance on external findings and orders, interim government-based measures, indemnification and reimbursement of cost, safeguards against misuse of process. Division 4, you have governance-based measures and escalation, overview, corrective and remedial measures, government-based limitation and restriction, referral to external authorities and proceedings, censure, impeachment, disqualification from future office following impeachment. And then you have the environmental compliance, severability, effective date. So this is just giving this whole overview of everything, of like the different degrees. We've had issues with councils in the past. And this also helps prevent council issues, not just present, but for the future, whoever will be sitting here, years to come. We've had, the last decorum was 25 years ago? That's a pretty long time. It needs to be updated to today's times and take into consideration of everything's going on. So this is needed. The notice and acknowledgement, this is just to acknowledge this. This is, we talk about transparency. This is written in here. Refusing to sign is just wanting to hide something or continue doing what is wrong. The stuff that we discuss, I know this is the ordinance. This is not the other in-house rules that we create. Now, we create in-house rules that is not part of this big ordinance thing, but we all agree. So if here in public you agree, don't be a hypocrite and then do something complete opposite. That is the issue that I was having. So we want to make this public. We want to be transparent. Well, here we are in transparency. We do talk about common courtesy. Each council should be open. Don't hide, pretend someone you're not. The voters should know exactly who the person they are putting into office. So this is for the benefit of the public. Public should know if their council is incoherent or unfit for office. I mean, if this is something that is very difficult to understand, the public should know that. This shows that we're just holding each public official at a high standard. You've asked for it. They come up here and speak in public comment about each and every one of us. Well, this is a formula just to make that out in the open. I mean, this is just to get the ball rolling. And, Here you talk about this whole thing, you had questions. So for Councilman Gutierrez, I wanted to know what rules in here that you specifically have an issue with. I mean, here we have all these rules. This is to hold us at a high standard. It's a good base. This is respect. This is everything that anybody could ask for in an elected official. Somebody even I would vote for, anybody else to hold somebody accountable. So is there a specific issue with any of these rules that you might have? Please put it out in the open so we can discuss, because this is the decorum in these rules.
I think I asked my questions. You keep mentioning being a hypocrite. You're talking about
Putting it in a generic sense.
Okay, yeah.
General sense
the
for
judicial
everybody.
system is a separate branch of government. And so I asked my questions. I addressed, we talk about the need for rules, but I wonder what happened to Vincent Campali and Larry Whithorn and Mark Taylor. I wonder what happened to them when they got fired and retaliated against. But so we talk about leadership, and you voted on that. So,
Madam Mayor,
so it's key to make sure you always talk and defend the mayor. Are you her lawyer or the city's lawyer?
I'm not defending. I'm defending the process.
So
it's beyond the scope of the rules of decorum.
Yeah, well, I have the floor. So it's key to ensure transparency and accountability here at City Hall. So thank you.
Councilman Wu.
Okay, and I think, with code of conduct, I think it's better with some kind of guideline, okay, and we need to use this opportunity because 25 years ago we have led, we never update. It's about time to kind of update, okay, and again, the code of conduct should apply all of us, including all the elected. So I'm going to move the motion to approve this code of conduct for everybody should be all elected, including their appointed commissioner. Okay, we get elected to serve, not to get a supreme power. Maybe not us, maybe the future to abuse that power. So I think with that guideline, we call a conduct that will really and make sure all the current and future and the city council, the elected or commissioner, all comply with the basic respect and common sense, and to help the city to continue to improve. So I move the motion, add about all the elected, this and that.
Yes. Before you do that, and you know what? Everybody has a right. If a council member doesn't want to sign, at least I would like the public to know that, so they know exactly who they have in office. So that is your right, but I want this out in the open. Councilwoman Diaz, you have a question.
Madam Mayor. Oops. I think that because it's been 25 years, my understanding since we've had this, I think that it's a great time to update. And I think that I reviewed it and I'm taking it home with me. And the bottom line is we all have to just respect each other and treat people with courtesy. And I don't have a problem signing this acknowledgement. So I want to know, what's the process? Do I sign it now? Do I give it to you? How does this work? I'm ready.
You'd have to wait till later. And actually, I wanted to bring up something for Councilmember Gutierrez, because it occurred to me what may be causing your concern with the acknowledgement, and a very simple fix to the acknowledgement. If you turn to page 5, that's 2-703, the acknowledgement. Obviously, since this is a first read and we want to make sure that this is something that we don't have to go back and forth on anything, I want to make it so that every council member is on the same page and is comfortable with this. It seems like this is a primary concern. Councilmember Gutierrez, if you removed literally the first clause before each city council member shall execute, so it would, instead of saying as a condition of assuming office as an ongoing obligation during service, if you move that clause, and then in subclause A, subclause 2, as a condition of assuming office, if you removed that subclause, if you moved those two subclauses, I think it would completely satisfy the concern that you have. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
And so it would make it so that it is beyond any doubt that the notice of acknowledgement is a notice of acknowledgement.
Exactly. Yes.
Would that satisfy your concern?
Yes. Thank you, Mr. O'Connell. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I would say that to the council, when you all are approving, that it would be with the removal of those two. They are non-material changes. We aren't changing a major clause. We are simply providing a clarification regarding essentially half of one sentence and a third of another to satisfy one of the council members' concerns regarding the applicability of the notice of acknowledgement. I think that would satisfy the primary concern that Councilmember Gutierrez had. Is that fair, Councilmember Gutierrez?
Yes, Mr. O'Connell.
Thank you.
Okay, great.
And again, this is the first reading. So as the public goes over this, the next reading, or prior to the next reading, feel free to email us. And I mean, we are pretty open. That's why today I wanted to make sure that this is an open communication, not just council, but to the public as well. I mean, if you leave it up to me, I wish I could have like council before they get into office to take a drug test and a cognitive test. But I know we're not going to be there, wishful thinking, but at least this is a start of a standard, just a basic standard to see who you have and just run these meetings peacefully as we can.
Second.
Okay, we have a second.
Madam Mayor,
You have something to say?
just very
Mayor
briefly.
Pro Tem Wu. I mean, sorry, Pro Tem Cantos.
I like the idea earlier that if we have it apply to all electeds, that was mentioned earlier. I just want to make sure that it's clear that if that would be possible for us to amend that here, sentiment-wise, for it to apply to all elected officials, I'd be supportive of that.
So we have a first and a second with the attorney's changes to Councilman Gutierrez's concerns, and then to put that this applies to all elected officials. Are we good?
We are good. However, council is informing me we're going to need two motions, one for the ordinance, one for the reso. So if we can do one motion for the ordinance and then a second motion for the resolution, please.
Just for clarification, so that because the resolution we didn't talk a lot about, as much as our discussions here between myself and Councilmember Gutierrez or Diaz are helpful and interpretive, the resolution is something that actually gives legislative intent to the extent that there are ever any questions, that actually provides the legislative intent. Great. So resolution is you're essentially saying this was the purpose of why it is that we were bringing this ordinance forward.
Great.
I mean, I know we had a motion and a second.
So I had a motion by Councilmember Wu and a second by Councilwoman Diaz for the ordinance. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. With the noted changes, yes.
Correct.
I have one question.
Councilman Gutierrez.
So are we doing a first reading or are we approving it today then?
It would be a first reading of the ordinance, but you are able to actually approve the resolution, which is the intent of it. A resolution has different requirements than ordinance.
Okay, great.
And just to note, I mentioned this again, and I'd like to clarify again with the council, the things that we had mentioned with the code of conduct that I mentioned a while back, I still like that to be in place. And we said effective. So if anybody in here disagreed with me, by all means, bring it up to the open so residents know exactly what's going on. But thank you.
Yeah, Madam Mayor, that was clear that it became effective immediately, and acting city manager has that discretion, notwithstanding that action.
Okay.
It will come back, a policy will come back with those detailed about the badge, about when you can be here, what office to use, certain things, using the printer, stuff like that will come back, I believe, at the next meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Just to clarify, I have a motion by Councilman Wu, a second by Councilwoman Diaz to approve the ordinance, and that's ordinance number 2537. Councilmember Gutierrez?
Aye.
Councilman Wu?
Aye.
Councilwoman Diaz?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Cantos?
Aye.
Mayor Lopez Viado?
Aye, motion passes.
And then if we could have a motion for the resolution?
I'll move the motion.
Second.
Thank you. That's a motion by Councilwoman Diaz, a second by Mayor Pro Tem Cantos to adopt resolution number 2026-10. Councilmember Gutierrez.
Aye.
Councilman Wu.
Aye.
Councilwoman Diaz.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Contos.
Aye.
Mayor Lopez Viado.
Aye, motion passes. All right, that is done. On to City Council reports, AB 1234, conference and meeting report. Anybody has anything to report on that? Seeing none, we'll go to City Council request. Any council requests? Councilman Gutierrez.
Yes. We heard from our community businesses today. Again, I voted on this, so I take responsibility for that too. But if small businesses are being charged that much amount of money, we're going to bankrupt our small businesses. So I would like staff to do a further report to the council and put it on the agenda to talk about a review of what we implemented.
Do I have a support on that? Okay, it dies. Any other council requests? No, nobody supported it.
Okay. I'm not following the.
Yeah. I mean, I do like to have Athens come in and explain.
Well, that's the same thing.
Well, yours worked a little differently, but.
Madam Mayor.
If it's Athens or staff, both of them.
To clarify, I think, or at least following, I think what the sentiments could be, if we could ask staff to look into the concerns that were expressed by the business district earlier with regard to the costs, especially in light of their understanding that the costs were only to rise by 17%, but then it looked like the costs were higher. Just to sort of look into that series of concerns and work with Doug and others who they represent to get to the bottom of that, and then also to let us know the outcome of that effort.
I support that.
Mm-hmm. And maybe we should have Athens to explain to us.
Yes.
Should be Athens.
About business, about the small business or any other restaurant, commercial.
Exactly.
You give us some example, because if it's 70%, then why is that high? So we can get some numbers. So I would support all these. Okay,
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Contos.
Thank you.
I second that. Any other council requests?
Great. Next one is to repeal the requirement in having the city council and having to confirm director appointments.
Is there a support?
Wow. This council talks about non-micromanagement and giving the city manager authority to make decisions on his own. And if it's not Mylan, if it's a future city manager, this rule was created in accordance to an appellate case where this rule was potentially created to retaliate against a city employee. So if we're going to allow the city manager to make his own decisions on how he appoints directors, then we should repeal that requirement.
I don't think you understand that ruling. He does have his full authority. He does go through his own motion, and then they just bring it to us so that we just confirm. We're like, okay, that's how it's been.
It says, shortly after the election, Castellanos approached the city manager Freeland about changing the municipal code so the city council and not just the city manager has to say in hiring and firing department heads. And it goes on, who approached Red Horn at a fire prevention open house, according to Dario Castellanos and Letty Lopez, has said, that's going to be your new city council. Get used to it. Change is coming. You work for me. And change is coming.
Now you're going.
So again,
right. I don't know.
So appellate court, the one we lost when the U.S. Supreme Court rejected. So we have a rule right now. That rule is on the appellate case.
And to make it clear, as I said before, that the council has no authority to hire and fire any directors. That is a city manager's job.
No, that's a lie, Letty. We do have authority to confirm director.
Confirm, but we cannot say fire.
So why don't we eliminate?
Okay, we're not going to continue this discussion.
Okay, so why don't we eliminate?
Excuse me. Do we have a support for Councilman Gutierrez's request? Seeing that.
So we can see the community see hypocrites
please.
Here. Next one. So my understanding, the health department item will come back at the next meeting, correct, City Manager?
Yeah, I'll provide a update on the financial status of the health department, what's been spent since inception. All that's will be brought forward. Not a problem.
Yes, and any attorney fees associated with that as well. It was the motion back then.
The cost, whatever we spent in the last 5 years, they're all captured by year. That's correct.
Great. And then my understanding is, according to staff, this in 2025, the city had a moon festival, and CAWC committed to returning funds that they had collected from vendors and sponsors. My understanding is the city still has not collected those funds from CAWC. So I would like city staff to follow up with CAWC to determine when they plan on giving the taxpayers back that money that they collected from the 2025 fair that they said they gave up power on.
Is there support?
What's that from?
Nobody. All right, it's.
What?
Does.
No transparency here?
No, I mean, they have. You can get that. If you have that, then.
They haven't returned their money, Letty.
All right, on to the next. In regards to
done yet.
transparency, I mean, if we're going to go at it, the council, with all this drama that's been happening, it's costing city taxpayers tons of money. And I'd like to, eventually when this all dies out, hopefully in a month or two, that we get the final report of what each council member causes. I know it's hundreds of thousands of dollars of costing taxpayers money for lots of resources and everything. I'd like to see that report come to us for each and every one of us. Okay. Second.
So,
all right.
Just
Thank you.
Yeah. So,
all right. Any other? Do you
Yes.
have another? This is a request. Please
Yes.
stay on topic to the request.
So again, I believe my request is to send out a notice to CAWC and Film It West Covina and ask them when they plan on submitting the tax returns and other documents the city requested from them that since this day they have not turned over.
And that is all under investigation. Please let the investigation run its course. Thank you. And with
Do you think it's a conflict when you're advocating for your own nonprofit on that matter?
leave that into the investigation case, all that, you're more than welcome to let the investigators speak your mind, bring that all up.
I don't
It's
even
all
know the
gonna
scope. You
That-
keep saying a scope. It hasn't been brought to us publicly.
That is there. And, you know, the attacks on all the nonprofits, including our West Covina Foundation, including our K-9 and police. I mean, man, talk about just hitting all these nonprofits. But anything else? Any other requests?
Well, now you're making up stuff. No one
Any
talked
other
about
requests?
the Police Foundation. I talked about the Community Services Foundation.
All right, that's
So,
enough. Let's, do you have another request?
yes, I want to know when you plan on returning your forms from Film at West Covina.
This is not, this is a request. Are we moving it? Motion dies. Next.
Okay, when does CAWC plan on coming back?
We had the same
Are they
thing.
back from New York yet?
Next.
So you're gonna allow.
Next, please.
Yeah, I'm not
Please
finished.
stick.
So you're gonna allow a nonprofit.
All right, that's it. We are done. We're not
Not
having
coming
this
back?
conversation. All right, we're done with the council request.
Oh my
City
God!
Council
This is what happens. Oh my God!
Remember, the investigation is still occurring, so I
Mhm.
can't wait till that comes out.
Madam Mayor.
Mayor Pro Tem Contos.
This is not a really. I just wanted just to make a comment with regard to this. We all have different concerns and so forth, but it would be unfair to characterize any absence of support to mean an absence of support for transparency. There are investigations that are ongoing. There are issues that have to be addressed, which they all deserve to be addressed. But to make the implication that if it's not supported in exact form as described here, that the rest of us are not being transparent is unfair. It's just really important that the city watching these proceedings don't look at this and say, "Oh, look, the council just is not really in favor of transparency because they didn't support anything of what was requested." Except that's not the full context of what this is. There's an investigation that's going. There are things that have to get taken care of with what the findings of fact are, and the investigation is independent, and then let's just see let's have the process play out rather than jumping to any conclusions for any of us. So I just wanted to make sure to point that out, because if I were a member of the public watching this, it would look like, oh my gosh, there's one champion council member who's trying to make recommendations, and with the rest of the council, that must mean everyone else is being conspiratorial. I'm here to say I'm not conspiratorial with anybody, and I don't believe that others are either. But we have got to change the tenor of this, because the implication is if there is no agreement in that way because of whatever is discussed, that somehow there must be nefarious intentions, and that is absolutely blatantly unfair.
Thank you, Mayor. You don't have no floor.
I have another.
Please, you
I
do
have
not.
another request.
No, we're done.
Another request.
No. This is
No.
to.
Who are you, the mayor?
Councilman Gutierrez, a second warning. We're going to go through
I
this
have I have
one more
one more.
time.
I have
I'm
one
going to
more
have
question.
Sergeant of Arms
No,
remove
you're
you.
not going to do that.
Sergeant of Arms, please.
You don't
I
have
can't.
authority.
Yes,
to
I do.
remove a
Sergeant
city
of Arms.
council member. You don't like.
Sergeant of Arms, I gave him his 3 warnings.
You don't have authority.
Thank you.
You don't have authority to remove an elected.
Move to adjourn.
I will move the motion to adjourn the meeting.
Before you do, I just want to say thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Cantos, for your explanation and your voice of reason and explaining to the public this whole situation. So thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. And Rosario, Councilwoman Diaz.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. You know, I just think it's very unfortunate that we can have a nice civil meeting and we always have to have this go on with this man. And, you know, we don't even have an opportunity to at least thank our explorers, congratulate them for the good work that they did in Arizona. I mean, we have to adjourn because somebody wants to grandstand?
No, it's not called
I think it's
grandstanding.
horrible.
It's called accountability.
It's pathetic. It's shameful.
It's called accountability.
Please remove
I don't understand that. We have
You don't
an
have authority.
investigation.
Yes,
No,
I
you
do.
don't.
All right. Other than that, this meeting is adjourned. Again, apologies to the public for the same council. Thank you.